has is question one. And question two is, if he does enough to fend off Shador for the whole year, is that enough where they don't draft somebody next year?
Catch Odyssey NFL insider Ross Tucker on Afternoon Drive every Wednesday at 4. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. This is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling.
This is Cleveland's Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Who was the guy in Godfather 2 that replaced Clemenza? Audio courtesy of the Federal Bureau of Investigations.
It's Frank Pentangeli.
Pentangeli, yeah. That's it.
Love Pentangeli.
They brought his brother in.
Oh, yeah. Just took one glance. One glance to know he couldn't rat out his family.
Not going to do it now. No. Wow, what a day yesterday was. And honestly, what a night last night was. Steph Curry went nuts. Great game, great overtime. I don't know how much you saw of that. Did you see much of that? Did you watch the NFL?
I saw the highlights already.
Oh,
the NFL game was over after 2 Carson Wentz dropbacks. I'm like, this game's over.
That was a total assing.
You know what? There is a battle in the NFL right now for, I think it's 15 fan bases to say they have the worst offensive line in football.
Yeah.
And Minnesota last night was like, we have the worst offensive line. And it looked like their offensive line was worse than our offensive line.
The thing with a lot of these guys,
of course, then we lost to them.
The Chargers are battling it too because of the injuries.
It's a great point.
But Justin Herbert's in his prime. Justin Herbert's still good.
He just decided he was going to take off and run last night.
So, this is the thing. When we went nuts last Friday, you remember last Friday? I'm going to get back to the gambling thing here in a second because, we're talking about the Bananos and La Cosa Nostra.
Apples and bananas.
This is just really good stuff. You're allowed to do that. I'm not. That's why
I like to eat. I'm sorry.
The Wiggle crime family.
That's all we do, right?
So last week when we were going nuts, and myself included, certainly, like with Joe Flacco, I did say it last Friday. I go, well, you watch in a couple of weeks, things will probably calm down considerably. Because you're seeing Carson Wentz. Now, Carson Wentz doesn't have much of an offensive line. I understand that. They're playing from behind. I understand that, too. Good God, it was 21-3 at halftime. You see a lot of the veteran backup guys. They have a hot hand, and then it cools off dramatically once they get some on camera. Now, I got to wonder if you were playing Carson Wentz now in London instead of that in London. Maybe it would have been a little bit different. I don't know. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. It doesn't matter. I know. But I could see a scenario like Joe Flacco. And I got nothing against Joe Flacco, so I don't want Joe Flacco. I don't pray for Joe Flacco's downfall. He's a really nice guy. Cleveland fans still like Joe Flacco, right? They didn't trade him.
I think so.
You think Cleveland fans still like Joe Flacco?
Well, I do.
I do.
Tony Fabric from Extend sent us a picture from one of the Mexican restaurants that we go to.
Right.
And it was a guy wearing a Cincinnati Bengals Joe Flacco uniform, and this was 2 days after he was traded.
He's wearing the jersey. Yeah, he wasn't wearing a full uniform. That would have been weird. Been like that guy who plays video games online who takes hits and stuff like that. He calls himself Scar. It's bananas, man. You got to go see that. Anyway,
they still like 2023 Joe Flacco. I don't know that they like Joe Flacco. Nobody was upset that he got traded, though, right?
Nobody.
There was an outrage.
I think they were upset that they traded him to a division rival, and the division rival ended up having a great game against another division rival.
Yeah, I heard him.
But I think that, again, it kind of went to, we were upset about the trade after the fact. During the trade, it was not I don't think there was very much support. This is just a couple of weeks ago. I don't think there was very much support. I think some people were trying to rationalize it as best they could, including the Browns. I think there were some people trying to rationalize it, but I didn't think that made very much sense, considering, again, you started the season with him. I was upset about the lack of reps given to your backups.
But last Friday's show was not about see what we're missing with Joe down in Cincinnati? It was about see how Andrew and Kevin suck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so it's not like they were big on we lost Joe Flacco.
Yeah, you're right. But I think because of that, even when it wasn't going well with Joe, because it wasn't going very well, I think a lot of people were just like, I had some people going, you get what you deserve. I go, no one was ripping Joe here. No one was ripping Joe. They just went, well, it's probably time to look at the young ones and time to move on. It was one of those.
We couldn't catch lightning in a bottle again.
When when you're sending Grandpa to hospice, you're not yelling at Grandpa when he's going to hospice. You're like, well, it's been a good one. And, we're going to miss you, and off you go, and hope to see you on the other side. But that's the way it was with Joe with trading him. I don't think anybody was screaming about him. There might have been a couple of people personally, but I don't think publicly that were really getting upset about Joe Flacco. Anyway, I think Browns fans still like Joe Flacco, is the base of it. But I still wonder in the next month, does that shine wear off? And it's there are some bugaboos there.
Well, yeah, and
it's not like they don't have.
And we saw film of what the Bengals had to do to make it work. And it was a lot of just, where's Jamar Chase? Let's get him by any means necessary. A lot of the throws were within 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. All right, now the defenses are going to adjust to that and get more physical.
Yeah.
Now, Jamar Chase is such a freak that, there's only so much you can do, especially when you got Higgins on the other side. But
exactly.
Yeah, I do not expect Joe Flacco to continue doing that.
Jordan Addison is pretty good. Justin Jefferson is really good.
Yeah.
So he does have those two to throw to.
If you watch that game, Wentz would drop back and immediately both tackles were getting eviscerated. And now you're asking Carson Wentz at his age, you're speeding him up, and he's not the same freak athlete he used to be. I know he wiggled out of a couple sacks, and you're like, whoa, but then the old Carson Wentz could take off and run like Justin Herbert did last night, and he couldn't do that.
No, he couldn't. But either way, I thought that, seeing these guys who are just older backups, like some guys who are younger backups, they end up having a hot hand again, and they become a reclamation project. I mean, again, Daniel Jones, credit where it's due. I made jokes at his expense for a long time, and right now he's on a heater, and I don't know if that's going to change. All credit to Carly Ursay-Gordon for wearing the headset. I mean, that's just changed everything in professional sports. Mike Florio just loves it, apparently.
This is the new thing that every team should be doing.
I would just love to see Mark Davis wearing a headset and see what people say about that. I know Tom Brady can, because it's Tom Brady.
How about Paul Dolan? Paul Dolan should have a headset on.
Exactly. He should have a pitch comm. He should be able to do, he should have one of the things in his hat and wear the hat and be able to figure that out.
When the batteries die, that's it.
Anywho, and have the IFB and everything. But
trying to say he doesn't have backup batteries?
Doesn't have it costs more money.
Well, they probably have a set of batteries, and then you plug them in and recharge the batteries.
Them?
Rayovac Renewal, sponsored with Michael Jordan back in the day, if you remember. Back to the gambling thing. Yesterday was a bizarre day, but I didn't feel like, as the morning went, and you were right, and I think it was a thing I'd like to talk about it, and it was bizarre. I mean, with Chauncey Billups, his final quote, by the way, did you hear what he said? He said, let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa! Like, this guy's probably not going to be a head coach again anytime soon. And then you see the Terry Rozier thing. Damon Jones allegedly selling off information about LeBron's injuries. That was something to see.
That was
Didn't have that on my bingo card, Tone.
Well,
didn't have that on my bingo card.
So every day, just a look behind the curtain.
Card.
We do a sports bingo card at the start of every business day here.
Didn't have that on my bingo card for the third week of October.
It sucks I have to lug that hopper up every day with the.
Yeah, but we never have any of the big stories on the bingo card. It's never there.
I didn't have that happening. Damon Jones selling off LeBron James's injury history, but I did.
But that was great because it's an easy headline.
Yeah.
It's the most famous. It's the most famous athlete in the world.
Yes,
right. It's LeBron. We could argue about who.
Arguably, I mean, I'm sure there's a
the most famous American athlete in the world.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Sure.
Boom. There you go. So that's immediately in the headline. No matter what, you're going to shoehorn in any podcast. They're gonna mention LeBron. And nobody is even alleging LeBron had anything to do with anything, but his name just raises the profile of the story.
So I didn't think it was the watershed moment that we have been kind of waiting for with gambling. Like, the world went on, Everything just kind of went back to where it was.
Yeah, we had games last night. You could bet on them. There were props.
Did they talk about them much on the ESPN broadcast or anything like that?
No, I just kept seeing Nuggets, the clip of Mike Greenberg, and they had, I think they're a partner with, was it Bet ESPN? Is that what it is?
Yeah, probably.
ESPN Bet, yeah.
ESPN Bet, and they are showing that, and then it disappeared. The graphic just disappeared during the conversation. So it made for some awkward moments. Yesterday, I had a Fanatics read right afterwards, and people were saying, "Oh, what's Tony going to do?" I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna do the read. I'm gonna do the read for our partner." like gambling went on. There was.
Well, yeah, people are allowed to do that.
None of my friends said this is no longer on the up and up. I am finished.
I mean, let's be honest. Like I look at gambling the same way I think a lot of people should look at a lot of things that are vice. Like you have to take it in stride with responsibility, don't you?
Yeah.
Like this is clearly a problem. You get involved with the wrong people who make a lot of money with the gambling. It's the same thing with a lot of vice.
When this started yesterday, you waited for all the dominoes. You were waiting to see 30 players implicated and coaches and GMs and referees. And then when none of that happened and this was this, you're like, yeah, it's a huge story, right? But we've always assumed that those prop bets could be manipulated to some extent. I was always like, I'm surprised that the books have so many props on there for people to go after because when you have obscure guys like Jonte Porter, that was the original one. That's the easiest for a guy like that. That would have been the easiest thing ever to have some information or to pull yourself out of a game. And so I've always been surprised that you could bet on a lot of these. Maybe there were caps or the books certainly understood that if a lot of money came in. But when that didn't happen, when it wasn't as widespread as we were waiting for at the beginning of the day, because you saw the rumors and then people started throwing names in there just to embarrass NBA players they didn't like. When that didn't happen, I'm like, oh, this is still nothing compared to the Donaghy scandal. Like, that was so much worse because that was a referee fixing
gambling
games.
Was still widely illegal.
Yeah.
And sports gambling was so widely illegal back then. I mean, it was just a different time. And now you look at it and you think, well, I mean, there's sports gambling in a lot of states. They're not going to get rid of props. Now, I do stand by what I say. It's like, hey, you're going to have to start having lifetime bans on guys to show them, like, this is not going to be worth it. You have to protect your league and your income, and you have to protect the players' union, and you have to protect the way you guys all make your money. So I will not back down from that. But the overall thing of it, like, yeah, it's dramatic when Kash Patel stands up there and has a press conference. I'll tell you that. I was at a lunch yesterday. They told me that at a dinner. I was at a lunch yesterday with one of our sponsors, and I'm like, this is pretty bizarre that I'm seeing this press conference here. But that, in its own right, that's kind of nuts. They did a lot of work to it. They deserve their moment. We'll see how it shakes out in court. But I think in overall sports, it's like, yeah, this is another day. It's another day. Like, it's not going to stop gambling. I don't think it should. I don't think it should. I don't think it should have some big multi-layered discussion, at least not yet. I don't know what it's going to take, and I really don't want to speculate on what it's going to take. I bet there's other players who got a little nervous yesterday, but
I knew this would happen. People that don't like the NBA tried to come out and say, that's that league. That league is such a farce. And I'm like, you don't think there are NFL guys that have limped off a field?
Happened in baseball earlier this year with our own team, allegedly.
Like, do you know how naive you would sound to assume that this is not going on in the NFL?
Yeah.
Like, the first thing I thought of is the NFL players make so much less money than the NFL players and a lot of the baseball players. Like, they would be the ones that would be the easiest. Their careers are only 4 years. They would be the easiest ones to get to.
And if you're one of the other leagues, I think you look into this and go, what can we learn from this to curtail anything with us? What can we do to stop and prevent any of this with us?
Can you? How can you prevent this in the NBA? How could you prevent this in sports?
And that's where I say the only thing I can think of is severe penalties. Like, I can't make you do anything. I mean, it's a free country that has laws that you pay the penalty for.
Do you guys not think Terry Rozier thought that, if I get caught, something bad's probably going to happen to me?
Yeah, probably.
Like, they already have existing rules in the CBA. Like, Terry Rozier knew if he got caught, his career was over, and could be worse. Yeah. Could be worse, depending on if they want to make an example of them.
All you can do is use these guys as a cautionary tale and hope that, I think, again, 99.8% of players, I don't think that this is feasible. But I think with a certain few, you're going to have those guys, and you need to do your best to weed those guys out and continue to move on, because that's what it did yesterday. It was a surprise, and again, the afternoon it was a big talking point, and then by the end of it, I got to hear a lot of Nick and Jonathan yesterday. I didn't hear much on it by the end of it. Now, I wasn't listening in the 6 o'clock hour, I will say, but I didn't get to hear very much of it after, because they got other things to get ready for. They had the Cavs game to break down. They have a Browns game to get ready for. You had Thursday night football to get ready for. And life is going to go on. And in the grand scheme of things, if Terry Rozier is from here, or from Youngstown, he's from Northeast Ohio. But other than that, Terry Rozier he's a good player, but he's not a star. It's not like if Kevin Durant got in trouble for it, you'd have a big conversation. If LeBron got in trouble for it, you'd have an even bigger conversation. Terry Rozier, Damon Jones, even Chauncey Billups. And I know Chauncey Billups has held high office within organizations and things like that, but his was different.
Terry Rozier, $160 million he has made in the NBA. That's Terry Rozier. Well, like a guy that...
And that's just off contracts, right?
Yes. There are a lot of people that would not...
those 8-leg parlays that he's hitting. Good God.
Do you understand how much money... And if he was susceptible to something like this, and then Jonte Porter... according to the affidavit, he was pressured because he had gambling debts. He was pressured to do this. And that's what a lot of people started throwing around the speculation when Clase and Ortiz, when they, when those allegations came out, people were wondering, were they pressured to do this? Did this come from home? But I wonder in the end, our listeners, how big of a deal do they truly think this is? Because we had games last night in the NBA, there were prop bets, life goes on. Mm-hmm. There were no drastic changes. The league may have to get a handle on their injury reports, but even then, in the end, if you're a game time decision,
Let me ask the listener. 216-474-0092. I'll check social media as well. Get on the coming in hotline, 92.3 The Fan on the free Odyssey app. You got to like the free Odyssey app, favorite it, and then right next to Listen Live button, you have the leave a message button. Keep it within 30 seconds. Do you think or did it change the way you see pro sports yesterday? I think it was a big conversation in the afternoon. But again, I got a football game to get ready for. I got Shohei Ohtani playing tonight. Victor Wembanyama's playing tonight. I got the Cavs playing tonight. There's a lot of things I got to get ready for. I can't just talk about Terry Rozier being in, possibly going to the Hooskow for a while. Coming up at 8:20 this morning, Daryl Ryder going to join us on the show. Nick Bartlett, CEO of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Rock Entertainment Group, he's going to join us in studio at 7:20 today. Has those allegations changed how you see pro sports? Really hasn't changed my perspective on things, and winning changes everything, especially how you maybe see Dylan Gabriel on Monday morning. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on that free Odyssey app.
92.3 The Fan.
Home Genius Exteriors. Get 50% off materials plus 0% APR and free attic insulation. Call Home Genius Exteriors at 855, the letter U, the letter R, Genius. See website for details.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
All right, 627 out there, so be ready. You're going to have a backup, I'm sure, on I-90 eastbound.
All right, come on. Fingers crossed, Ken. We've had 5 straight days of major backups because of a wreck on 90 coming in with the multiple construction projects going in. Now, there's no rain this morning. So
yeah, there was rain this morning. What are you talking about?
It wasn't raining when I was coming in.
It rained when I came in.
And he's coming in from the west side, too. What are you talking about?
Did not rain during my commute.
The road still wasn't wet when you were driving in?
No.
Wow. That must have been a big bummer for you.
How much further?
Clouds were awesome.
How much further away or later do you leave than Owen? Like, Owen walked in, what, 5:10? I want to say.
20. Yeah.
I looked at
like my driveway was a little bit damp, but no, there was no rain.
Well, either way, please give yourself a couple extra minutes there and get ready to take the shoreway or wherever you can because
feel like you're getting ready for Augusta. How are you going to tackle what the conditions are going to present this morning?
I think you're going to have yourself a mess on your hands basically every single day here and for the foreseeable future.
For 2 more years.
Yeah,
I've got my little traffic app pulled up right now. I'm seeing green roads.
Oh, we're good. Let's go.
Good. So far, so good. So be careful out there on your way in. And again, give yourself a little bit of extra time. Nick Bartlett, CAF CEO, going to join us in studio coming up at 7:20. I have to ask him about this with the gambling thing. Some people making a big deal about it. I know that some people in our there's a lot of people in our mentions like, nah, not a big deal. Not a big deal. I think a lot of them might be people might be waking up checking the DraftKings and FanDuel and Fanatics and everything like that in the morning. But it's not. I don't. It's a train that's never going to derail and end. I don't think it's going to happen. You'll get to have your fun. You'll get to have your props. You'll get to have all of it. There's too much money to be made. They will just go after the people who impugn the dignity of the league and the process as much as they possibly can. But I don't think that they're ever going to turn away a way to make money in professional sports.
No, you're never. You're never
your
going the other
gambling
way.
is not ever going to be in. Now that it's open, it's not going to ever be in danger.
Well, it's a big part. So. It's a big part of the CBA and why the players are getting paid so much too. Are these relationships? Same thing with the media. I mean, it's all kind of intertwined. But Tim on X says you're burying the lead. The biggest issue is that Silver and the NBA investigated this and looked the other way. So to that, I do have a question because we went through this with our baseball team, and baseball, along with the FBI or whatever, investigating it. And they had to pull the players out. So Terry Rozier was pulled out. Then I don't know. I can't say whether or not they technically cleared him. They just didn't find anything. So what are they supposed to do? Should any player? Because then it feels like I could get any player removed from any sport if I just place a lot of money on their bet. Like you can't. What is the NBA supposed to do if they asked everybody around Terry? And everybody's like, no. And then the FBI, if they don't talk to the NBA and say, no, here's the evidence we have. What is the NBA supposed to do?
Turn it over to the FBI, right?
Well, that's what they did. And if the FBI doesn't give them any more information or cooperate with them because it's a part of a larger...
Well, exactly. I mean, if you're dealing with organized crime there, like the FBI doesn't necessarily care too terribly much about what the NBA is doing unless they're involved with organized crime. Once they're involved with organized crime, you're going to keep things in-house. Like, listen, I'm not J. Edgar Hoover over here, but everybody knows that. You're only going to tell people what they need to know or if they can help you with your investigation. So maybe Adam Silver knows something a little bit different, or maybe NBA security knows something a little bit different. But
I'm sure they get rumors by the hour.
Yes.
About hundreds of players and stuff that could be going on.
Because,
are they supposed to pull everybody out?
I know that the last couple of years hasn't been that big in free agency, but I mean, this is a league here where everybody talks to everybody. And I mean, I'm not just talking about the NBA. I'm talking about people who are family members. When free agency, now that the second apron, it's not as big of a deal, but when free agency was that big of a deal, people talk to everybody. I mean, we had the shirtless Jim Tan selfie guy that you dubbed him, who ended up telling us that LeBron was coming back, and he ended up being right, by the way, wherever he is. Congratulations to him. I hope he's doing very, very well. But you had that guy who was a personal trainer. You've had barbers who tell people. You have police officers, firefighters who tell people, personal doctors, nurses who tell people, because everybody talks to everybody. So it doesn't surprise me that in the NBA, yeah, I'm sure their phones basically ring every morning with probably some sort of question or impropriety that goes on, even before gambling, even before legalized sports gambling.
But in the end, I guess I don't want to say the onus is on the books or the gambler, but if you're wagering on something like a prop bet, something like that, isn't it already baked in that you understand that, well, a guy could get injured 2 minutes in, and that could throw my bet off, or something like this could happen? Like, I think if anything, it's up to you, like whether or not you are entertained by that game of chance. And it's up to you to decide, well, if there's a lot of smoke around this stuff, maybe I just want to bet on the game instead. Or maybe I want to bet on a first half number. Like, rather than so specific to a player that could be compromised so easily.
Cavs home opener coming up this weekend. We'll talk to Nick Barlage, Cavs CEO, about that, as well as a lot of other things going on in the NBA. That's at 7:20. Nick's going to join us in studio. Winning changes everything. Now, I've long called Dillon Gabriel a backup quarterback, and people get upset about that, guys. I just think that's what he is, and I'd be more than happy to change that designation if he goes out there and plays well. I think Sunday, in so many ways, could end up being as Waterloo for a lot of fans. When you're dealing with a rush defense that is third in the NFL right now, that's pretty good. I know that you said that Jonathan had mentioned something like, guys, just get ready. I think they're going to abandon it. Well, if you're down by 2 scores going into the fourth quarter, the run game goes away. Now, you could put Quinshon Judkins out there if you want to, but I think in this game, it could change the way people think of Dillon Gabriel. Because let me try to be positive about this. Like, if I were picking a team to win, I'm going to pick the Patriots. All right? That's how it's going to go. Obviously, I want the Browns to win. If the Browns are going to win, I think Dillon Gabriel has to play well. I don't think that you can hide him anywhere. It can't be like the Miami game where he doesn't have to do anything. Exactly, where he doesn't have to do anything. I think he's going to have to play well in this game. Drake May's really, really good. He's doing it with a bad offensive line. Or he's got injuries across his offensive line. His left tackle situation's not that great. He's had pressure up the middle. He's been able to escape. He's been able to run for first downs. He's much better with his legs than I think a lot of people are about to realize coming up on Sunday. This is going to be a very, 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 very difficult test. And I can go back into the history, but let me just stick with these two teams. It's a really good quarterback. His offense is good. Boute's very good at catching touchdown passes. I mean, they can put it on you. They really can. And that rush defense, I think, is going to do what they can to circle number 10 and cross him off the list. And then let's see if Dillon Gabriel can beat us. And he has to play well to get a win. If they win on Sunday, does it change? Will a lot of people change their perspective of Dillon Gabriel? Can it change the thought of how you feel about Dillon Gabriel as a Browns quarterback, a future quarterback with one win over the New England Patriots? I have to say yes, because I can't see him playing poorly or them not needing him to win like they did against Miami to go out and beat the New England Patriots. I find it to be almost impossible. Yeah, he's not going to just be able to screen them to death. Yes. Like they're just not going to allow that to happen. And the one concerning thing to me is, like, Judkins was phenomenal on 3 runs in that Miami game. Well, on 18 runs or whatever it was, he was held in check at the line of scrimmage. So he was able to, because he's got some special juice to him, to break a few loose and make the most out of it. But yards per carry and all of that. And that was against, I think, arguably the worst rushing defense there is in the league. So what happens when he's going up against a team that's good at it? Yeah. And that was, that's what happened. Pittsburgh's defense hasn't been good this year, but Pittsburgh, they stopped the run. And then the Browns abandoned the run. So then it was a sitting duck. I mean, Dillon Gabriel had no chance. He couldn't see. He was getting rushed from every direction. And it seemed like there were 20 guys rushing the quarterback because he got swallowed up. I can't help but think it's going to change my perspective. Now, I can't see a scenario that I come in on Monday and say, franchise quarterback material, we might be cooking with something here. But I can see myself going, all right, we need to kill this conversation right now or put it up on the shelf about the backup coming in. Like that being it. Like if you're 3-5, you kind of got to look at it now. Especially 3-5, a bye week, and then the Jets. You got to look at things now and say maybe this season isn't gone to hell the way that we think it's going to go to hell. Now, you got major decisions coming up that you and I are going to, if they win on Sunday, you and I are going to have arguments over the next week on what to do at the trade deadline. Because at 3-5 and in a not so great division, this division is not great this year, you have major decisions to make. And I think that Dillon Gabriel has to play well for us to have those conversations next week. I think he can change the conversation around him coming up on Sunday, but he's got to play well for them to win. 216-474-0092. Is winning against the Patriots, could winning against the Patriots change the way you feel about Dillon Gabriel? And did you hear Tough Talking Myles before the game on Sunday?
No, I didn't.
I have something you have to hear. He was talking tough, and it wasn't necessarily about the Browns for once. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, where leadership could possibly be born in 5 minutes on the Fan. Daisy dips, yummy, yummy, yummy. So good.
happens as fast as sports, and now every play is faster than ever before. Know the risks. Learn more at pausebeforeyouplay.org. Brought to you by the Cuyahoga County Problem Gambling Coalition and the Adams Board. In crisis now, dial 988.
There's only one place for a full recap of practice in Berea. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. 92.3 The Fan.
I want to ask, we got people in. Could a win against the Patriots change how you feel about Dylan Gabriel? You want to ask Nick Bartlett at 7:20 this morning. Nick Bartlett's going to join us, CEO of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Rock Entertainment. Also, 9 o'clock, Nathan Zagura going to join us on the show. I have some audio to play right before he comes on, and Nathan during that Browns win against the Dolphins on Sunday. Before we do any of that, Myles Garrett, this is pregame. NFL, the NFL put this out there. This is Myles Garrett, as guys are supposed to do, getting his team hyped up before the game. Now, I'm going to speak lowly. Turn your radios up just a little bit here so you can hear it, because this is heavily edited with the bleeps from our good friends at the National Football League and NFL Films. Here is Myles Garrett before the Dolphins game on Sunday.
Coach keep on telling us to have some fun. Have some fun. Only way I know how to have some fun is winning. That's the only way out. Nobody having fun when we losing. Nobody having fun walking back to the locker room down. Clock 0, we down. Nobody likes that. So take that personal. That's the only way I know how to fun. Take that personal. Whoop somebody ass. Finish. Win. Every quarter. Do that. Let's go. Win 0-3. 1, 2, 3.
Audio courtesy of the National Football League. It's never too late to mend, as I found out on the wall at the end of Blues Brothers. Is it too late to ever become a leader? Is it too late to ever become a true leader? Now, I know we've talked about this before many, many times. I don't expect him to be a leader. I know he's flirted with the idea a time or two. I think at times he's wanted to. I don't think he's ever really taken the mantle and been that. But is it ever too late to become that leader? I don't think it is. He knows he's not going anywhere.
So wait, what do you think leadership is? You think it's just rah-rah speeches?
No. But I don't.
So this
think
changes Ken's mind just like that because he heard him mic'd up before a game.
Wait a minute. I didn't say. I'm asking. Hold on, a-hole. I'm asking a question. I didn't say all of a sudden I'm pro Myles being a leader out there and giving fiery what's the guy who was the hockey coach?
Hervé Villachet.
Yeah. I never.
Herb Brooks.
Herb Brooks, thank you. I didn't almost said Herb Abrams. I didn't think he was going to give some Herb Brooks speech. I didn't say I was all of a sudden like that. I'm just asking you a question for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I mean,
why do you always, every time I ask you a question, you just assume I'm setting you up for my point I want to make?
I just think
it's a simple question.
Like, leadership is like one of the hardest things to ever talk about when we're not in the locker. We basically just have to ask the players, like, off the record, hey, who are the leaders in that room? And it's not necessarily just the guys that have the big C on their jersey. Like, we found that out, plenty of times.
Yeah, I know.
So I think it's a hard thing to talk about because we're not there every day. I mean, we've seen Myles, we have to put together all the evidence that we have and then determine if it means that a guy is a true leader. Like, I've seen Myles working with other linemen in camp. Okay, that's something a leader would probably do, right? And I've seen Myles talk more than any other player. I mean, probably because we have different quarterbacks all the time, but Myles is the guy that talks the most and gets microphone shoved in his face the most outside of Shedeur Sanders. So that to me, that would seem like a guy, if he's talking all the time about the team, if he's weighing in, if you can tell the general mood of the building based on, how a guy reacts, like that's always seemed to me like, all right, yeah. But then there's the question of, is it good leadership? That's a totally different idea. Like, when LeBron was here, we always were asking about his methods and the way that he would go public or the way that he would utilize social media.
He wasn't always perfect.
Yeah.
He wasn't always perfect with it.
Yeah. So, all right. But would guys defer to him and kind of go the way LeBron wanted to go? Of course.
Well, if I can say something without you turning my words against me already. One speech that I see on TV or in a clip 4 days after the game isn't going to change my mind. I still think he's reluctant to take leadership, to take real control of the team. I think it's part of what holds them back because when the best player on your football team doesn't really become that leader and sets that example.
So, but what do you
all the
mean
time,
by when you say that?
I think
that'll sound like if someone's never heard our show before, they'll say, "Well, what are you basing that on?"
Based on everything that we've found out over the last 9 years of his career. The things that I've seen, the things that I know, the things that have been written about publicly that people can go read. Those things cause me. And I'm not even bringing up any of the stuff that happened. Back in when was it with the helmet incident? I'm not bringing up any of that stuff. That's beside the point.
I think, for example, I think that now years removed, I think people look at the Baker situation and. There are people that blame Myles Garrett for some of that. Because,
you know what Mary Kay wrote?
Right.
That was years ago.
Right, absolutely.
They remember that, and we remind them of it.
But it's funny is Myles is still here.
Yeah.
Myles is the guy that is still here. So, does that maybe prove that he was a better leader at the time than Baker? I don't know.
And you know what? Maybe, but at the same time... Or is he just a better
player?
Well, certainly. And I think that we have confused him being a great player with great leadership at times. And I think that also when we see that video, we were tagged on it a bunch of times on social media about it because, again, we've been critical of his leadership. I think there's a difference between great player and great leader. And I think that at times that's what's hurt them because I think he's flirted with the idea. I think he's been inconsistent with it. But if you're not consistent the entire way through, players are going to see right through that. Fans, they desperately want it because they don't get to see the inside stuff. Players, you can't lie to players. And if Myles wanes, if he wants to take that mantle of leadership, great. I don't think it's ever too late to do that. Unless you are because right now, he is at the peak. I think that if you were at the end of the line and you were not the same player you used to be and he was a shell of his former self, yes, I think it's too late. But if you're still at the peak of your powers, and he is, no better time. Because he has to understand this. He's not going anywhere. He's here until the end of his career. Or if he wants to retire at the end of the year, then he's done. But he's here till the end of his career. That contract, with the exception of one contract that's maybe somewhat realistic, but still a pipe dream, is untradeable. So you're here now. You've made your decision. You're here forever. So if he wants to, he can look at it and go, I got to get the very best I can out of myself and everybody else. And he can tell the truth. He can tell the truth. If he thinks Kevin Stfansky's a goof and he thinks that this team is a goof and this front office is goofy, he can go out there in the media today and say that in the media. He could say whatever he wants because he's untradeable. But if he wanted to, he could be the policeman in the locker room. He could be the guy that holds people accountable and holds people to a higher. But he's got to do that consistently. He's been inconsistent with it.
But again, we're not there every day to know if he's doing all those things.
But I don't want to give my hopes for it and confuse that for what's real because I think he's flirted with it a time or two, and I've wanted him to be that guy, and he hasn't been that guy, Anthony. This could be a nice first step, but I'm going to need to see more evidence.
But I think a bigger question is, can a guy be a true leader if he did everything he could to get traded and told everybody how bad everything was in the building? Does that disqualify?
He didn't rip his players.
Does that
he didn't rip his players. He did not rip his teammates.
But isn't that what he's doing? He's basically saying that they're not talented enough. So the guys in this locker room are not good enough. So are those guys then in turn going to say, you're our leader?
Difference. I think there is a difference there. I think they see it differently. I understand how that can look to some people, but I think that they look at it and go, I think that they've had questions of going, what are we doing here? Who's the leader who's the leader in the coaching staff? Who's the leader in the front office? What are we doing here? I think that a lot of guys in that locker room have asked over the last umpteen years since 1999.
When people, because again, we use only
this is a deposition.
We use only the scant evidence that we get. Part of which, like Kevin Stfansky, after a win in the locker room, there have been 7 times where they have won games. Kevin's doing his version of a fiery speech. Then we analyze that, and then someone will always go, oh, look at Myles in the background. He doesn't even care. He's rolling his eyes. Kevin's getting fiery, and he doesn't care. Guys are different, though. Nick Chubb was never going to be a guy that was going to be elated or really down.
But that's even more the reason. If you don't trust the head coach, and you know that you only have so many years left, or time, if you are finally realizing that time in the league is precious, somebody's going to have to take over the leadership, and it ain't going to be Kevin. If anything, Kevin needs those guys. Kevin has always needed the criticism that you could give. He's not Dan Campbell. He's not Mike Vrabel. Okay, he's not going to take on a player physically and be able to, and people question whether or not he actually would be the one to come out on top. He's not going to do that. So he needs somebody in that locker room to be able to hold themselves accountable every day, which again, has been a question with Myles. You know that and I know that, but also hold everybody else accountable. And if Myles would like to do that and do that consistently, I'm all for it. But you keep asking me questions, and it sounds like you almost want me to talk you into it. Either A, so you can feel better about Myles' future here and his presence here, or B, so you maybe can use it against me and see if I can get myself excited, and then all of a sudden they're going out there and sucking up the room, and people are sending us clips of him walking around on the field or something like that. See, that's what I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be fooled. Okay, it's been too long. I ain't going to be fooled by it. It would be a nice first step, but I'm not pointing out that he's the leader that you've always wanted him to be now. No, absolutely not. That's up to him. And that takes more than just one game that you won and one speech coming out before to change that opinion. 216-474-0092. I'm going to get back to you guys. Nick Barlage in 20 minutes. And can the Patriots game, great movie, can the Patriots game on Sunday, a win, change the way you feel about Dillon Gabriel? I think it, to some degree. I don't think he's going to be a franchise quarterback to this city, but I think he's got to play well for them to win. I don't know if you can help it but feel different about Dillon Gabriel if they win on Sunday. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, Darryl Ryder, the dangerous one, 820 on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for Floors with a Z.
Sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
Cavs tickets coming up 9 a.m. Your chance to win them for the home opener. Your Cleveland Cavaliers. Hey, can I say something? Nah, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till after Nick Barlage comes on. Because it won't offend Nick Barlage, CEO of the Cleveland Cavaliers. It'll make our boss mad. It's going to make our boss mad. We got a meeting here. It's a Friday. Can't wait. Can't wait to make Keith mad at me. And truck umbrage was something he said to me yesterday after the show. And I kind of want to ask all the listeners whether or not I should have. Maybe they'll agree with him. Maybe they will with him. You'll have to find out later on this morning at around 8 o'clock. 216-474-0092. Could Sunday's game against the New England Patriots, if they win that game, could that game change the way that you look at Dylan Gabriel? I don't know by any stretch, because right now I see him as a career backup. I don't see him as too terrible. I don't see him as very, very good. I think he's a career backup, smart, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if they win, do all of a sudden I say, well, no, I've seen the light as a franchise quarterback. He's got to do a lot for me to think of something like that, and it seems to be unrealistic. But I also think he's going to have to play well for them to beat the New England Patriots. So if he plays well, like we're going to have a bit of a different conversation. It's certainly going to cool off the conversation about somebody else playing for the Browns. And if he plays well, it should. But I can't see myself coming in and saying, oh my gosh, our problems are solved. Now, some people may, but I'm just not willing to do that so far. Right now, right off the top of my head there, Tone, go ahead.
Well, look, he's going up against a team that is, I won't say the talk of the league, but they're getting a lot of buzz. Their quarterback seems to be the talk of the league, that he could be the next really big thing. His numbers have been outstanding, and they've got a coach that everybody, when he lost his job in Tennessee, everybody's like, no, he's the guy you keep. Like, people were so puzzled about that, and there were suitors for him big time. So he ends up going to New England, and it looks like it's already turned around. Like, it looks like they're already a good team and a force to be reckoned with. They went, even though they've had a soft schedule, they did beat Buffalo. They did beat Josh Allen and made him look, pedestrian at times. So, if you go down there and your quarterback looks good and can hold up against that defense and kind of go toe-to-toe with Drake May, it has a chance to change a lot of what we say about Dylan Gabriel. Absolutely.
216-474-0092. Alvis in Cleveland. Hello, Alvis.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Glad to have you, friend.
I'm going to say like this. It depends on how we win. Now, we keep going through this old check down stuff and all this. It's not going to change. It's not going to change my mind with them. Now, we can get out here and I can see some shots down the field, because at the end of the day, I don't care what nobody say, he's too small. He cannot see over the line. All the passes that he tried to throw to the side, they sail. So I need to see some better production. I'm tired of seeing all this check down stuff. We need to take some shots downfield. The whole NFL knows this playbook. It's like they know what the Browns is going to do. I can sit at home and look at the TV, and I'm going to know what the Browns going to do. So I'm not even no experienced or no Yale type of guy that know all this stuff with the NFL. But I've watched it since I'm young, and I've played it also. So if I can sit back and see what they're doing, I know other coaches can scheme and know what they're going to do. I just need to see more production. I need to see him throw some shots, take some shots downfield.
Alvis, I think I agree with you. At the same time, though, I think that, you say it depends on how. I think you talk about the shots down the field, everything like that. You're not wrong at all. I think they have to play that way for them to win. Now, if I look at what their schedule has been, like they had 3. I don't know what Carolina is. I know they're 4-3. They've won a couple in a row, and they seem to be a tough out for a lot of teams. Okay, they're playing better. Pittsburgh's still a quality football team. I think the Bills are still a quality football team. I don't care when the Patriots had to run into them, and I don't care what the injury situation was with the Bills' defense. They've had some slop there on their schedule as well. So they're the third-ranked rush defense in the league. I don't know if it's like the 85 Bears, but I do think they're going to do what a lot of pro teams do. They're going to circle number 10. Okay, we're not going to let him run out on us because we're going to go after Dylan Gabriel. And I think that they look at him and go, yeah, he's 5'9", and we're going to take away any sight that he has, and we're going to become a problem for him. So I think they're going to have to go down the field for them to win. They're going to have to move the pocket. He's going to have to be able to move around, and he's going to be able to hit guys on outs and in stride to keep the chains moving down the field. And they're going to have to line up and get him in space and take a couple of shots here and there. Yes, I think you're right.
Exactly. And plus, I don't care if they do circle number 10. Number 10 is a young bell cow. You cannot give him two carries and then you freeze him out for 6 carries. You have to give him the ball. You have to start to wear down the defense. That's how they can make the game more simple for Dylan Gabriel. If they can establish the run, even if they give him some short bubble screens to Dylan Sampson, you have another running back that's good coming out the backfield, catching out the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying. Kevin Stfansky needs to open up this offense. Like, if he's going to keep doing this check down stuff, we're not going to win. But I don't care. I don't care who's in the quarterback. I like Shador, but he's not playing right now. So my focus is not on him. My focus is on winning. I want to see
and you're
production.
Right. You are right.
I want to see production.
Alvis, you're right.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
One more thing. This is Kevin Stefanski's guy. He's been taking first-team reps since training camp. He's been taking first-team reps since training camp. There is no excuse for nothing. There's no excuse. Open this playbook up and use your running backs. Use your players.
Well, either way, it's still an indictment. I'll tell you that. And Alvis, thank you very much for the call. I liked everything basically you said because it's still an indictment. Because I wanted to answer and go, well, if he's not capable of doing that, and then I go, well, why did you take the guy? You've said up and down that you like the guy. You said up and down that you loved his smarts. Okay, well, you took a guy who you can't go up and down the field with. So if you can't go up and down the field with still, like, yeah, you've taken yourself a career backup in the 3rd round. And there's worse picks to make in the 3rd round, but there's also better picks to make in the 3rd round, too. So you have this guy that's ahead of you. Like, Sunday can be a day where we come in here and some people put their tails between their legs. Some people have to say, yeah, he wasn't where he couldn't even play in the NFL, Daryl. But there's also could be some people who are going, this is his Waterloo. And whatever this is doing must end. I got to see something that has the chance of enticement for the future. And that chance for enticement for the future and being excited for the future is number 12. Well, you know that, too.
It is. It's why I'm excited about this game on Sunday, because that's what the win last week brought us. Everybody's like, there were a lot of...
if they were just 1-6, who the hell cares?
Well, and there were a lot of people that were like, it's the Dolphins. It was in bad weather. Like, that's Tua's Waterloo. And who cares?
Oh, now we're just Waterloo and everything here.
But because of that win, it did make me get invested a lot more into this Sunday. And of course, they win again. Or if your quarterback, even in a loss, if your quarterback looks good, that does change things in a big way.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're just 2-6, then it's like if the quarterback looks good, it's like, all right, he buys himself a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
I think he's got to look good for them to win. And if you win, now you're 3-5 going to the bye week going, all right, Jets are terrible. You want them to get a win before you play them. The Jets are terrible. See what we have against them. Now we could be 4-5. Now all of a sudden you're in it. Do we want to get rid of David Njoku? Do we want to get rid of the guys on the offensive line? Like that, and still probably yes. But it messes with your head going, why give up on the season? So that's what Sunday can do for you. Malone in Lakewood. Hello.
Morning, guys.
I'm Malone.
I would say for Dylan Gabriel to show us that he is NFL starting caliber quarterback level talent, he would be promptly arrested by the FBI afterwards for gambling because there's no way he could look this terrible and then just show up out of nowhere and play that well. That's how drastic of a difference he would have to play. He would be taken away with Chauncey Billups.
There's our first gambling reference
speculation.
Today. Took longer than I expected it to. It was an hour and 11 minutes. That's the first wisecrack.
Would you be that surprised? I'm kidding.
Well, it is part of our Friday wisecrack series.
Yeah.
Coming in hot at 9:45. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste. Henry in Akron. Hello, Henry.
Thank you for taking the call, and I don't care if you win with him. You know, I don't support him. I support Shador. And just like the guy said, if they just win the game,
wait a minute. Are you a Browns fan?
I'm a big Browns fan.
Well, then that's asinine. How could you not support the starting quarterback for the football team?
I just don't like Shador. Him. I don't like him because he's a weak quarterback. He just don't have the arm strength. That's why the receivers don't like to go deep because they know that he can't get them the ball. So put Shador out there. I'd rather have Shador out there, point blank. Even if they win, I still don't support him. I want Shador.
And Kenny, I've told you this with the segment of the fan base, winning football with Dylan Gabriel just holds off the more popular guy that people want to see.
That's crazy. Why would you think that way?
I don't think he's alone either.
Hey, well, wait a minute. Do I like Shador Sanders or Dylan Gabriel better? I'm asking
Shador.
you. I like Shador better. I still want Dylan Gabriel to do well. Why wouldn't I want Dylan Gabriel to do well? He's the starting quarterback of the football team.
Hendry?
Hendry, the question is yours now. Why wouldn't you want him to do well?
I want him to do well, but he's just not the better quarterback. It's just that simple. He can't even get the ball down the field. I'm sick of looking at that. That's the reason why the receivers don't want to go deep. Because of him.
All right. Hendry's mad.
Kenny, he is bored by Dylan Gabriel. He says the receivers don't even want to run down the field.
Hendry has to come out and admit that he just wants the Browns to lose on Sunday. Yeah. And he wants him to look bad.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it is.
Sounds like that.
You can't say, I guess you could try to say that you are thinking big picture for the Browns, and so you want failure. That's the Torg principle. I still don't believe in something like that, but that's what Hendry wants to say. He should have just said it then. You want him to lose. Just come out and say it. He just didn't want to get sweet chin music for saying that the Browns are his favorite team and he wants them to lose. So he talked around it. Tried to be political. Nick Bartlett going to join us next. He wants the Cavs to win. He's the CEO of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Rock Entertainment. We'll talk about the Sunday game where the Cavaliers open up their season at home against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes.
And we're giving away tickets at 9 o'clock for that game. Nick Bartlett joins us in studio coming up in 5 on The Fan.
It's Anthony Lima for
Roberts say one of the accusations Jones is facing disclosing injury information about players including LeBron James while he's spending time with the Lakers. Get out, find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All right, Cavaliers back in action tonight. We have tickets for the opener on Sunday, 6 o'clock against the Milwaukee Bucks. This is like a premium showcase game against Giannis. And obviously the Cavaliers, they fell in the opener, but they have a chance to get back on track tonight. We'll have an opportunity to win those tickets in the 9 o'clock hour, so make sure
right at 9, right before
tuned.
Nathan. Yep.
Yes, big opportunity. Hottest ticket in town, as it always is, and to talk about the Cavs and so much more, including a farce in the Garden when it came to the officiating for Jalen Brunson. We'll get to that here with Nick Barlage, CEO of the Cavaliers. What did it look like to see the flailing away of Jalen Brunson courtside? Because, Nick, you had pretty damn good seats. You and Kobe were right on you were right next to all the luminaries. It was you and Ed Sheeran. We're hanging out together at the Garden.
Larry David, yeah.
There's a big drop off between Ed Sheeran and then Kobe and myself. But I'm not going to comment on the officiating. That's not in my strength. But I will say, look, we can play a lot better. We will play a lot better. Having three of our kind of main guys out, if you will. And having a bunch of new guys coming in that they're still trying to fit in with Kenny and the system and all the different things. I did think we saw glimpses. That third quarter was a glimpse, I think, of what Cavaliers basketball will look like this year consistently. And it shows you the value of being healthy. If we have all of our guys, I think that's a different outcome of that game. So not the way we wanted to start the season, to be clear. We've got a lot of expectations this year, and we intend to fulfill them.
Well, what do you got planned for? I'll just get into the fan experience thing. What do you have planned for the fan experience? Not just on Sunday, obviously, but for the entire year, because you guys always put on a good show.
Yeah, we have a whole slate of great promotional nights, great theme nights. Opening night, we always do the T-shirts. We do the rally towels. We've got the Pix Mob bracelets. So it's going to feel like a Super Bowl in there, and that's always the goal. But throughout the entire season, our number one focus every year is how can we reinvest in the fan experience. We've updated the arena this year. Again, we've put about another 8 figures into the arena, low 8 figures into the arena to make sure that it's ready to go come opening night and for all 41 games throughout the regular season and hopefully beyond that. So it's going to be your typical, Rocket Arena experience. You're going to have a lot going on. You're going to have an amazing intro video. I think the really cool thing, if you guys remember back in 2009, 2010, when we had the classic jerseys, which are our jerseys this season. If you remember that intro video where we had Shaq coming out of Lake Erie, Z and Andy coming out of the Guardian statues, LeBron came out of the Witness poster. We're reenacting that intro video again with our current team, and it's going to, I got to tell you, it's one of my favorite intro videos of all time. It's going to put the hairs on the back of your neck up.
I'd say, obviously, I'm buddies with a few people over there, and every year I text Josh Sabo, and I'm like, what's it going to look like? What is it going to be like? Because that place is deafening on opening night. It's always a loud venue. In fact, during the playoffs last year, the TNT guys were like, this might be the loudest building in the league. But the opening night video and the song and how these guys are going to be welcomed, it really sets the tone and is always one of the things I look forward to the most on opening night.
Yeah, it's going to be electric. Our chairman, Dan Gilbert, is he's so invested and so focused on the fan experience and specifically intro videos. It's our goal to get it rolling right from the rip on Sunday night at 6 o'clock.
What do you think is the organizational goal for the year where, you come off 64 wins, the season didn't go the way you wanted it to, in the NBA where a lot of fans, like from the outsider's perspective, a lot of fans go, well, a regular season doesn't matter as much, and especially when you're coming off of 64 wins. How do you go about it as an organization? Going, okay, we're getting back into it. We have a chance. We have a look at it. We're one of the 2 teams predicted to go to the Eastern Conference Finals here. How do you build that up throughout the season?
Yeah, it's a great question. For us, I think too, the season did go the way we wanted it to last year in the regular season. 64 wins. We won 15 in a row. I think we won 18 in a row later on in the year. it was special. It was kind of magical. Yes, it didn't end the way we wanted it to be very clear. But going into this year, look, we are investing at the highest levels and probably in the history of the NBA, I think, to date, relative to roster and the construct of it financially. And so for us, there's only one expectation, and that's to go for it. And there's no doubt the expectation when you invest at the levels that we're investing this year, and you have the group that we have, a group that cares about each other, cares about the community here in Northeast Ohio, a great coach in Kenny. I think what you're going to see is every regular season game is we're strategically looking at it as a moment to keep building towards what that ultimate goal is. And so I think there's going to be a lot of value in that, to be honest, Ken. I think there's going to be a lot of value in seeing this team grow and prepare and crescendo towards that postseason run. And I think that's going to be the story as we start to tell it this year.
Nick Bartlage in from the Cavs. I'm always curious about this because all the teams in town, I think, do a good job of reaching out to their customers, to their season ticket holders, asking them, how can we do better? And so all the venues kind of evolve over time, and you guys have evolved, I think, more than any of them. So what are your season ticket holders, what are your customers telling you that they wanted? How are you meeting their needs?
Yeah, it's a great question. About 15 years ago, we transitioned it into more of a membership model. And so for us, we're actually serving our members 365 days out of the year. This last summer, we hosted over 30 events throughout the summer and keeping our fans engaged, wrapping our arms around them, making sure that they know what's going on with Cavaliers basketball. And we do that with all of our properties, the Monsters, the Charge, and obviously we'll do that as well with the WNBA as it gets up and running. But for us, it really was a banner summer. We had members out at our topping off ceremony at the Cleveland Clinic Global Peak Performance Center. We had members at our WNBA press conference announcement. We had members at happy hours and doing a bunch of different things. But for us, that really is an extension of what is the 43 games we have at Rocket Arena throughout the course of the season. And so we're constantly doing new things. We've updated our membership headquarters, our membership lounge, which is a club dedicated just to our members in the arena. We've also gone through and updated all of our club spaces this upcoming season. So, for us, we're constantly evolving, iterating. Last year we made it snow in the arena, if you remember that. It was a game, and we'll probably try to work that back in tastefully this year. So there's a lot of things that we're continuing to evolve and focus on to make sure that, back to your point, the value proposition of being an investment in us, we want to return that threefold. And a metric I'll give to you is we spend over double what any other NBA team does on a per account basis to entertain, incentivize, and provide gifting to our members, our season ticket holders, and our fans. And that's a tribute to Dan. Dan wants to make sure that you feel the fact that you're a member of this team and you have real equity in what we're trying to do.
Nick Bartlage joining us, CEO of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Rock Entertainment Group. Tough question to ask. Got to ask it because of what happened yesterday. How do you guys navigate all that with, you got Kash Patel giving press conferences and everything. Thankfully, it wasn't a part of the Cleveland Cavaliers, but you are an NBA team. How do you guys go about dealing with these things as they continue to pop up, as we see sports gaming be legalized all throughout the country?
Yeah, look, I think it's a fair question to ask, to be honest. I mean, we should be asked these questions given the roles that we're in. I mean, one, it's an active investigation, so there's very, very, very little you can actually kind of pontificate or share about. But two, I would say this. We have some of the best leadership in the world in Adam Silver and Mark Tatum, and we've been ahead of this. I will tell you, as a team member, just as a team member working in the NBA, you know damn well what the rules are. We train every single team member, every single player. You go through intensive training at the beginning of every year. You have to get a certificate, so you know what you can and what you can't do. And so, from that perspective, but it's no different than what we were just talking about offline. We have employees, we have people that work in these different various industries. It's no different than if you're a banker and you commit fraud. It's no different than you're in front. I mean, these are white collar crimes to some degree in some regards. And I'm not saying that they're criminals because they're innocent until proven guilty. I want to be very, very clear and very fair about that. But in every line of work, you have people that break the rules. And obviously in our line of work, when that happens specifically around or potentially specifically around sports betting or gambling, we live in a microscope and a fishbowl, and it's going to get magnified and it's going to get talked about. And so we certainly understand that and we embrace it. But I want to be really clear. We've got great systems of accountability in place. And you know damn well if you're breaking the rules or not. But what I will not say is I won't pass judgment on any of those individuals involved because there's a whole investigation to go through and a lot to be said and done.
Yeah, what was so interesting to me is how everybody wants to talk about this and what the NBA needs to do to fix this. And I can just tell you from being over in your building, during the playoffs where we didn't know from game to game if, say, Darius was going to play or Evan was going to play. But I just remember how serious everybody was in making sure to do everything by the book, because think of how many different ways that information can get out. And obviously we're sitting here as radio show hosts, like hoping those guys would play, but knowing that people are gambling on this all over the world. And obviously there's a compact there with your customers, with the viewers at home, with the people listening all over the world on making sure that you guys are being on the up and up for those players and their health situation. And I just don't know what you guys can do beyond that. Like, what other steps can you guys take, or the league even take, to make sure that everybody continues to have that trust in what you guys are doing?
Yeah, look, I will say this. You bring up that as a great example. I bring up, even on opening night with DeAndre, obviously he banged his knee in the preseason game, and I had no clue if he was going to play or not. But I had, just walking around the garden, people asking me whatever it was, and I'm like, you just kind of say, hey, I don't know what's going on, and you live based on once something is out there and what's being reported by specifically our medical team and then obviously our communications group. But you kind of lose the sight of like the magnitude of what that could be from a gambling perspective. I mean, that doesn't even cross my mind because we've been kind of classically conditioned and trained to just not comment, no matter if it's a random fan walking and stopping and asking you in the tunnel, or if it's if it's a personality, a media personality. And so for us, though, it's been years of classical conditioning around these things. You know what to do, you know what to say, you know what not to say, and you're respectful about those things. And I think too, at the end of it all, I've never, over the last couple of years, I more and more have created a heightened awareness around this, because you realize the implications of it that could be from a sports betting perspective. But we've been so wired, I'd say, the right way as an organization to make sure that we do these things and we handle these things with great care and great intentionality. But it's hard. It's something you got to consistently focus on, because you just don't know by simply responding to a text message from a buddy, like, what does that end up being, And so for me, it's just, we just shut it down and we just stay focused. And I would even say that, most people that interact with us know better. They know that there's just certain things we can say and certain things we can't.
All right, I want to know, because I see cranes on my way in all the time down by the riverfront. Where are we on, the putting together of the Cleveland Clinic Global Peak Performance Center? I want to make sure I get the name right, but I get asked all the time, like, what is that really going to be? Why is there such an investment in that space? Why does it look like you guys have such highfalutin plans? So give me the elevator pitch on where you guys are at and what this is supposed to be about.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, because there's a 110-foot drop from here on in Ontario as you look down it, you don't get a real idea for how big it is until you actually go down there and get alongside of it. And we should get you guys down there to check it out when you're not working. But
Ken loves wearing a hard hat.
Yeah,
that's been his dream.
I'm a hard hat type of guy.
Just bring some boots, because it's muddy down there right now. But look, this thing is going to be iconic. I mean, it is really going to be a jewel for the community. It's got 65,000 square feet of medical services that are going to be, any one of us can walk in and use the medical services provided by the Cleveland Clinic: imaging, sports medicine, recovery, physical therapy. And then there's going to have 155,000 square feet next to it that's going to be, it's going to be the biggest indoor practice facility in the world for a professional sports team. And I just let that sink in for a second. It's the largest investment of an indoor facility that we've seen in the world for a professional sports team. And so it's going to be right here in Cleveland, Ohio. And so for us, this is a chance for us to really recreate the way that sports medicine and a team interact and engage while still providing care for our community. And then the other part of it, which is even more important, that's pretty important unto itself, but the other part of it, which is even more important as we think about what happens on the rest of the riverfront, it's the first catalytic project to start the rest of the development. And as I was talking to Cranes the other day, we really want to get this thing done in the next 5, 7, 10 years. We want to get this thing done so that facility has other projects coming online shortly after it's online, and we're really close on some of those things. And so it's going to be its own kind of gateway district neighborhood. And so as you think about it, you have the Guardians, you have us at Rocket Arena, you're going to have Cosm at Rock Block, you're going to have everything that goes along the riverfront, Tower City, which we're working on redoing as well. And so it's going to be an immersive entertainment district that's going to be like nothing you've ever seen in the world. And we can't wait to bring it to Cleveland, Ohio.
I know we've had other people. We don't have a lot of time with you left, so I want to make sure I ask this. We've had a lot of people in from the WNBA group, but it's been a couple of months. Can you give us any updates on how things are progressing with the other half? Well, the other part, because you got other teams, obviously, within your group, but the one branch with the WNBA that's starting to blossom.
Yeah, it's going just phenomenally well. We crossed 7,000 initial payments the other day, which is pretty remarkable. Actually, 2 days ago. We're getting close on a name. We should have something to share with all of you guys, early Q1 of next year. We've got some great finalists, and we're working through the league on that.
Are any of those names, are those public? Because I've seen some rumors and some speculations. None of those are accurate.
We're
so
doing
Reddit's wrong.
We're doing some focus groups, and don't believe Reddit on this one. When we know, you'll know. Put it that way. And we'll be really loud about it in a great way. We're working on, we've started to build out that suite of team members that are going to be focused and working on that opportunity. But I have to tell you, what's amazing to me is, you go around town and you're doing all these different things. So many of the conversations either start with the WNBA and where it's at, or what we're building and what's going on the riverfront. I mean, those two things people have so much interest about. And it's just, for me, like I see our president of business operations, Allison Howard, we put something out there about her and she gets like quadruple the engagements. We put something out there about me and it's like, here's a couple people that want to say hi and, whatever, like something. And so that to me just shows you the power and the interest of women's professional sports. And we're beyond thrilled to be able to bring it back to Cleveland.
Dan Gilbert, his presence, we've seen a little more of him lately as he's been on the comeback trail. So how is he feeling? I've seen him a lot in Detroit, doing more and more. So what can you say about his presence, maybe even starting on Sunday?
Yeah, well, Dan will be here. Dan was actually at the Garden on Wednesday night as well, sitting next to the bench. His presence is omnipresent for us in everything that we do. His vision cascades through all the things that you see us doing. I mean, look, when we sat down and talked to him at the end of last season about keeping this team together, it wasn't even a conversation. But you got to have the conversation. I mean, it's $392 million. You got to have the conversation. For him, it was just, what are we talking about? Let's move on to the next thing. This for him, he invests at the highest of levels. He's very present. I should say, he's not as present day to day, but his vision is present every single day in what we do and what guides us. And he's going to be there opening night. He's going to be, he's so thrilled for this season. We've spent a lot of time with him over the summer, and he can't wait to get going because he knows what this means to this community, and he knows what. And I think the thing he loves also about Cleveland is the fact that people are so grateful and thankful for the investments he's put into the community. I feel like he doesn't feel like he's taken for granted here, which I know, and I'm not saying he feels like he's taken for granted in Detroit. I want to be really clear about that. But when he walks around, when he strolls around town, people stop and they're so excited and so thankful for him and his investment and what he's doing. And our goal is just to continue to keep breathing life into that. And but he's going to be around a lot this year, and his presence is felt every day.
Nick, can't thank you enough for the time. I know you got a very busy day, very busy weekend coming up. Thank you very much. We hope to have you again soon. Thank you.
We appreciate you guys. Hey, go easy on my boss, Myles Garrett, huh? Go easy on him a little bit.
Oh, my gosh, I forgot.
Just kidding, guys.
I forgot. He's got his fingers in a lot of pies.
Yeah, we love Myles. But I know you guys do, too. So I had to put that out there.
Thank you very much for listening, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Bartlett, CEO of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Rock Entertainment Group. He's on the Fan Hotline. He's in studio. We'll get to more of that coming up in a bit because I got scolded yesterday about Jared Allen and what I didn't want to say about Jared Allen yesterday. And the NFL is trying to control Al Michaels, and he's not going to take it anymore. It's coming up in 5 minutes and About Last Night on the Fan.
$800, $10,000, $300,000. They have something for you at Diamonds Direct. And they treat you like a VIP the moment you walk through the door. Have your favorite drink.
Dial 988.
So much can happen around the globe that we never hear of.
Embarrassing. We got to be better on defense.
It won't matter till April. I think we know that. Y'all gonna write us off. We could go 82-0. No one would care.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. How he couldn't please his wife, so now he's divorced.
Put a damn winning team on the field.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Well, we actually had some NFL football last night for you guys, but if you didn't watch, you didn't miss much. The Chargers defeated the Vikings 37-10. Justin Herbert looked fine. Carson Wentz looked like half of a broken man. But the thing I want to bring up with you guys today is what happened on the broadcast for Amazon. Al Michaels talking during Will Reichert's first field goal attempt of the night. Now listen to this.
Will Reichert, his only miss this year was when he hit a wire with the camera in London.
Now, that was actually during the Vikings-Browns game in London a few weeks ago. This is later in the broadcast on Reichert's second field goal from Al Michaels.
32-yard field goal attempt. The league wants to take my lunch away because I said before that Reichert's only miss was hitting a wire in London. The league says, no, it was an optical illusion. Not what Reichert thinks. Anyway, there you have it. We cleaned it up.
Once again, audio courtesy of Amazon. That's some putting your hand on the shoulder there.
I love it. Well, first off, Al Michaels isn't going to take it. He's the wrong guy to say it to. I understand why the NFL, audio courtesy of Prime, I understand why the NFL would probably be sensitive towards this because it wasn't Prime's broadcast in London, was it?
No, it was NFL Network's broadcast.
There you go. So I understand why they would be sensitive to it, especially because NFL Network's isn't that ESPN now?
Yeah, it's a different arrangement.
Who is doing the formatting and all that? Yeah.
You don't want anybody really talking about, and they're very sensitive to it because each of them are spending over $1 billion. You don't really want them talking about your.
But you know what I honestly think?
Partners.
I still think people are like, oh man, this is going to get really, really anxious moments between Roger Goodell and Al Michaels. I think the commissioner loves Al Michaels. I think he thinks this is fun. I don't think they're killing him today.
The thing you guys are brushing off is he said they want to take his lunch away. Do you know what he eats at halftime of every game?
Is it
He has a steak and baked potato at the halftime of Kirk Herbstreit.
In 12 minutes?
Yes, Kirk Herbstreit has talked about this. He goes, that was the thing that shocked him most when he started doing Thursday Night Football was that Al Michaels has this delectable dinner in front of him at halftime of every game. Are they taking his steak away from him?
Spiro Adidas ain't getting that.
No, not at all.
What's Spiro and Adam getting in Cleveland? They're 17 times.
What do they give Fanta?
Beef?
What are they going to give Fanta at halftime NBA games? Here's a chili dog.
Maybe
get that in you.
A go-go squeeze applesauce.
Maybe a muffin that he can use a spoon to try to help scarf down.
Psychopath.
Is that psychopathic?
Yeah.
I don't think it is. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later.
Show it for the cameras.
Definitely at some point because I want to get this in with you guys.
I put it on social media.
We had Aaron Rodgers yesterday talking as the Steelers are about to play the Packers this coming week, and Rodgers saying that it is not a revenge game for him upcoming against Green Bay.
I don't have any animosity toward the organization. Obviously, I wish that things have been better in our last year there, but I have a great relationship with a lot of people still in that organization. This is not a revenge game for me. I'm just excited to see some of those guys and be on Sunday Night Football again. I knew the writing was on the wall when Jordan was picked, and as a matter of time, I happened to win MVP the first 2 years he was with us. But I knew at some point there would be a change, and if I wanted to play, it'd probably have to be elsewhere.
There was also a news report yesterday, Rodgers saying yesterday he wants to retire in Green Bay by the end of his career.
Well, yeah, you'd always want to go out on nice terms. At least I'd hope so, and I'm glad he does.
I feel like every day of Aaron Rodgers' life is a revenge game against somebody. I feel like even in Pittsburgh, the video of him getting tackled by one of his offensive linemen and then him getting up and go, what are you doing? He just seems like he is miserable from moment to moment. And then I'm sure those are the down moments. I'm sure he has good moments with these guys too. But he just seems like he's at a stage where he doesn't want to be trifled with at all.
So you don't think that's crazy? You don't think that at all?
No. What I mean is, I think that he, of course, it's a revenge game against Green Bay. And I think, of course, every moment of his life, he is sitting there stewing about something or someone has done to him.
I don't. You're probably right. No, you don't think that he'd want to go back and you don't want to end up being like Calvin Johnson. Have they put that relationship back together? I think they might have.
He's been back for some ceremonies.
But remember they owed him the $1 million, and it got very, very ugly and contentious. And I know Barry Sanders had a problem with him back in the day. Now everything's great with Detroit, so what the hell? But I would think that this is a game. This is probably a weird game for Aaron Rodgers. I don't think there's going to be any of the histrionics of the I own you and things like that, like he's done against the Bears in the past.
You don't think if he beats them, he's going to have some fun with that?
I would say no.
Okay.
I think a lot of other people will, but I don't think he will. We'll find out on Sunday.
That's it for About Last Night.
Outstanding as always. Coming up at 8:20 this morning, Daryl Ryder going to join us on the show. Could Sunday be make or break for Dillon Gabriel? What do you think? Could Sunday be make or break for Dillon Gabriel?
I think it could be.
Do you want to pick a fight with our boss coming up in 5 minutes?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to pick a fight with my boss coming up in 5 minutes on The Fan. Tom Merriman and Merriman Legal. You don't want to pick a fight with him if you're an insurance company, if you're one of these other ones that are going to, sign this and do it. No. If you've been hurt in a job, if you've been hurt in a car, if you've been hurt in an accident, folks, you have an option to get to the man.
got to win, so it doesn't matter how you
With
play.
the backup quarterback, that's what you do.
He's the starter.
No. He's a backup quarterback in my eyes. It's all I'm
the
judging
starter.
him off of.
No. You have to judge him as he says
No,
they
he's
are.
the second
He's their starter.
He's the second quarterback off in the season.
We cannot lower the bar.
You're asking Dylan Gabriel to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I'm not. That's
By
the
not
difference.
missing a wide open
That's the
Quinshawn
difference.
Judkins?
I'm judging him how I judge Mac Jones. You're a backup
Mac
quarterback.
Jones was a
Did you win the
first-round
game?
pick and a better quarterback
Did you win the
than
game as
Dylan's
a
ever
backup
been.
quarterback? Did you win the game? That's all I care about is a backup quarterback. He's not your starter long term.
They
He's
think
not gonna
he
be,
is.
No, they
That's
don't.
why they started
No, they
him in
don't.
week 5.
He's not a starter long term.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Daryl Ryder, 8:20 this morning. And apparently I'm a psychopath. We're going to ask Daryl whether or not Sunday could be make or break. Could it be Dylan Gabriel's Waterloo? We'll find out with Daryl coming up at 8:20. Also, Nathan going to join us at 9. Lima, you called me a psychopath, but you said before that's the way to do it. So I don't like to eat in studio. Sometimes I do. Obviously. I don't like to, but I don't like to do it.
You don't even like getting caught drinking your milk or whatever that was.
I held up. I had a milk earlier a couple days ago, and I held up my thing every time I went to take a swig of it. People thought I was vaping. I don't know why, but either way, because I didn't want the camera to catch me. And I don't like people seeing me eat, but either way, that's just one of my little things. So I have this muffin, because you do know the Muffin Man. And I have a muffin, and it's the convenience store downstairs sells very large muffins. And this muffin is a chocolate muffin, and I did it with a blueberry muffin earlier this week, as I've had now 2 muffins this week. Boy, I'm going to be regular later on.
These are the biggest muffins you will see.
They're very large muffins.
Genetically engineered.
And one time, years ago, I had one of these chocolate muffins, and I remember I got so frustrated, because it was actually during a Daryl interview. I'm like, what the F? And I had like chocolate muffin, chocolate chip sauce, whatever, all over my fingers. It fell over. I put it somewhere. I'm like, I got it on my pants. It was terrible. And I hate mess. I try to be a very clean person. And I decided, you know what? No. So now I keep it in its cup thing, in the wrap, and I eat it with a spoon. And I took a picture of it, put it on social media, because Lima goes, oh, we got to discuss this. This is crazy.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do that.
And you said it could be the move, though.
But I said, I've had those muffins. I've had it all over me. There's no way, like those Kind bars I eat, there's no way not to get the particulate all over
exactly
you when you're eating that stuff. So Ken did that, and I'm like, that's kind of smart. And then,
thank you.
Oh, you mentioned
it's like a loaf of bread.
No, Mitch mentioned a fork. I said that he's a psychopath for using a spoon. What do you eat cake with? Do you use a spoon with cake as well?
No, I use a fork with cake. Okay. But it's on a plate. There's no plate here. I only have a napkin, and I want to keep it all in. I don't want to be picking up little pieces of muffin later on the table.
If you can't do the crime, don't do the time.
It's not a crime. I'm just having a muffin in the morning. That's what I'm doing.
No, I'm just saying, if it's such a big thing for you that the particulate could get everywhere, just don't do it. Do something else.
This is
do
an
a banana.
Office.
That doesn't get everywhere.
Eat the banana because
do something else.
He's turned me off to bananas because he eats the strings. It's
Sometimes,
disgusting.
Yeah, it is pretty.
What do you mean sometimes? You eat the strings every time.
No, but now because you mentioned it, I started throwing them to the side. I don't want to deal with it.
That's why we have that wall full of strings over here.
Yeah, it's all the string wall. It's one, and we tell all our guests to come in and pay
Sign
homage.
the string wall. Bring your own string.
I don't particularly like to eat with my hands, except for certain foods you have to. Like if I'm having a sandwich, fine.
It is a messy endeavor, though, Owen. You got to admit, like you are. First of all, there is nothing more gross, and Kenny's called me out on this too, than licking your thumbs and your fingers.
Do you use a fork with chicken wings when you get wings?
No, I eat wings as they're meant to be eaten.
Okay.
But like if I eat like a 4-piece white with JoJo's, I'm using a fork. I like that. Like if I go to Mr. Chicken, I get the 4-piece dinner with the 2 breasts, 2 wings. Get some. They usually give you the mashed potatoes.
I only get the dark meat, so I don't know.
I mean, if I were into thighs and drums, I would eat that with a fork too.
Thighs, buddy.
Thick thighs. Save lives and make good chicken dinners. Yes. Fine. All right. Real quick.
It's tongs.
We're getting back to Browns coming up here in a second, I promise. However, I made our boss mad, and I kind of want to ask people, did you guys want me to make a big deal yesterday about Jared Allen? Like, we talked about Jared Allen, and I said, yeah, it sounds bad. And I mean, good God, we had people lined up wanting to trade the guy, but he acted disappointed. Do we have audio here? Here's Jared Allen before the Knicks game the other night, and this is what he had to say.
Is it just me, or the lights in here brighter than expected?
Audio courtesy of the Entertainment Sports Programming Network. So
it was a throwaway line, and we agreed that had he had a great game
it would have been a great
won,
yeah.
We'd be laughing about how whimsical Jared Allen is. He has a bunch of lines like these. He's always interesting. Anytime he gets interviewed, says some funny things.
He says he's texting Joey like, "Oh, get ready. I think Ken's going to lose his mind." I'm like, "I'm not. It's game one. I'm not going to lose my mind. I'll have plenty of time later in the season to lose my mind. I'm going to really have a rant and get red-faced and vulgar over game one of the season, not a series, of a season. It is against the Knicks, and I know that we're supposed to match up against them in the Eastern Conference Finals. I get that, but I'm like, man, am I really going to do that game? What do you would you guys know? Do you want me to do it? Do you want me to did I miss an opportunity to get mad at Jared Allen?
No, I think when you do your
people?
fake outrage is some of the worst that you do.
But I'm not.
If you're not outraged.
I've never done fake outrage, and I'm not going to fake it.
Yeah, what are you insinuating there, Owen?
I definitely agree with you.
What have I ever been fake outrage? Name 5 examples.
Oh, and could you power rank the instances of fake outrage from Ken Carman?
Do it right now.
We'll move on. Exactly. I just want to get into our Surfside Cavs update brought to you by Surfside.
The Surfside fake outrage brought to you by Surfside. Yeah, he's like I texted Joey. I go, well, first off, I'm not doing these things. I don't get mad at the Browns and like go after Kevin Stfansky, who I find to be a friend. I don't go after those guys just for your YouTube clips. I'm not trying to just do a clip show for you. I'm trying to do a show for everybody. That's what I'm trying to do. All right? Like, it doesn't bring me any joy to get red-faced in the morning after the Browns lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers and look bad doing it. It doesn't bring me any joy to do that. And if it's the first game of the season, I'm like, yeah, I know I was exasperated with Andre Schmidt, and so far he's made me look like a moron for wanting to cut the guy, and thank God for that. Thankfully to him. And maybe I've learned myself a valuable lesson. I still don't believe you develop kickers, but still, he's hitting his kicks. Good for them, because I don't think I could stomach another issue like that. But guys, I should say to my boss, and now I sound like Al Michaels here all of a sudden calling people out. Like, I'm not going to sit there and fake it. I don't need to. Been on the air for 14 years here in this city. I think people will understand that I'm mad when I'm mad, and I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to fake being mad. There's nothing I hate worse than it's embarrassing. It's a joke radio when it's not. It's game one against who you're supposed to play in the Eastern Conference Finals, but it's game one of the regular season. And they're still figuring themselves out. They didn't have some players the other night. Yeah, I'm disappointed that Jared Allen made that joke because it looks bad and people are going to want to trade him over it because he's the easiest one to trade. And I'm disappointed that you had four points and 4 rebounds. But it's still the first game of the season.
Well, I'll admit,
I'm more mad at my boss than I am Jared Allen now.
I was fired up for that game until, the day of, we're like, who's even playing in this game? I remember we didn't even know if Karl Anthony Towns was going to play. And I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be like a preseason game. But then when I'm watching the game, I get into it, and I start analyzing it like any other game. I know a lot of fans, it's a regular season. This regular season is not going to mean all that much. So maybe that wore off on me, I'll admit.
Same boss just sent me a video of me eating and wrote nom, 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 nom. I heard him doing it in my head, and now I'm laughing. I'm sorry.
And Jared Allen, he's one of those that we've had these conversations, but we've also kind of used him as an entree into the everything else conversation with the Cavs, which is, can these guys play well in the biggest moments? And, opening night does end up becoming more of a moment in game 2, or I guess, Milwaukee game on Sunday will feel like a big game because it's Giannis and it's their debut, and Nick Bartlage was in talking about how awesome that environment is going to be. So there are only so many benchmark moments in a NBA regular season, and opening night is one of them. And so the Cavs, until further notice, not just Jared Allen, the Cavs, until further notice, as a team, has to prove that they're going to be a big moment team.
Exactly.
And so, did they fail the test in game 1? They didn't have Darius. They didn't have Max Strus. They didn't have DeAndre Hunter. Those are 3 key figures.
I got 81 games left to go. So I can only do how I feel about things, guys. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of passion later on in my life about all these things, but it's not going to be over game one of the regular season. I could very well, if you really want to know how it's going to play out, I could very well see myself at some point, when's the trade deadline in February? I could see myself in the month of January, if they're struggling, getting mad at Jared Allen. Because if they're struggling and they're getting physically dominated, going, I didn't say you guys needed to shed the soft label. You did, Jarrett. You said it. You haven't done it. I could see myself getting mad about that. The Darius Garland, if I was out on the floor, we would have won the finals. That comment, I could see myself getting upset about that. I hope I never have to, but I can use their words against them. But I'm not going to do it after game one of the season.
Well, and I think with Jared Allen,
I called him my boss's words against his own.
I'll say this. You notice I don't use a phrase anymore that a lot of people use with the Cavs over the last 3 years. And that is core four. I don't say that anymore. He is not part of their core. He's not part of everything they do now anymore. He just isn't. That's gone. He's 27 years old, not old, but his game has not evolved. Like Larry Nance Jr., you watch that guy.
You're right.
His game has evolved.
You're right.
He came in and we heard whispers like, hey, he's actually taking more threes. He's like, all right, I'll believe it when I see it in a game. And what did Larry Nance Jr. do? He came right in and was like 3-and-D all of a sudden. A totally different player. He's transformed himself. Well, Jared Allen has it. He's been the same player now for 5 years. He's not changing. He's not evolving. So you just have to figure out how you're going to play with him.
That is correct.
He still can be a force in instances, but when you don't have your point guard out there and Darius Garland, there's not much for Jared Allen to do when he doesn't have a guy setting him up.
I understand that is some of the people's favorite things is watching me get mad, but I can't just turn it into some carnival sideshow act, and I'm not going to do it when I don't feel it. I'm a very emotional person. I'm overly happy. I'm overly sad. I'm a basket case in so many ways. If Jared Allen continues to make jokes here and there and talk about not being soft anymore and continues to put up 4 points in a basketball game.
4 rebounds.
And with 4 rebounds, yeah, I'll get there. Let's just hope I don't. Nathan Zagura, fine man. He joins us at 9 o'clock. We also give away Cavs home opener tickets at 9 a.m. Your chance to see them go see play the Bucks on Sunday. Coming up next, could Sunday be make or break for Dylan Gabriel? Daryl Ryder's going to answer that question in 5 minutes on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for...
117. Get all the latest Browns content filtered right to your phone during the regular season by following the Browns playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Ask Daryl that question about tonight. Daryl Ryder, brought to you by Shabin Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Daryl, I got a very pointed question for you. You ready?
I'm standing by.
Which one would you rather watch tonight? Would you rather watch Victor Wembanyama?
Bing bong, bing bong, boom.
Wait, would you rather watch Victor Wembanyama, or would you rather watch Shohei Ohtani?
Shohei Ohtani.
See, I agree. And Lima said before, he's like, I'm watching Wemby. I was like, it's
now, if you told me
first week of the season.
Yeah, I know. If you told me Ohtani was pitching, then I'm dialed in all game.
He had 3 home runs and three at-bats.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're only going to get to see him 4 or 5 times, and now
that's the problem. The anticipation.
Will he even see any good pitches? Like with Wemby, the ball's going to be in his hands. He is a monster on both ends of the floor, and he's the biggest freak I've ever seen in the sport.
Boy, you in baseball, you just suck.
I watched the World Series last year.
Well, apparently you're not going to because Victor Wembanyama is playing in his second game of the season. Hi, Daryl.
I'm sorry you have to deal with this for 4 hours a day, Ken.
Well, it's just silly. I mean, he's allowed to love basketball. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, come on, man. It's a World Series.
It's just the thing that always stinks with me in baseball is that you just don't get the opportunities to see stars be stars. They just get very few opportunities.
But that's
in the NBA, they get the whole game.
Well, and Shohei's coming off one of the most incredible games in Major League Baseball playoff history, if not ever.
He's not pitching tonight.
So what? 10 strikeouts, 3 home runs in a clincher?
So every 30 minutes, I'll flip over and watch him take pitches for 90 seconds.
Well, I'm sorry. I just can't watch the World Series tonight because, Sagapulatelli, Pio's nephew, is going to be playing for Cal against Virginia Tech at 7:30, and I mean he's the star of Cal, so he's always going to have the ball in his hands. So I have to watch that kid over Shohei freaking Ohtani. Like, I'm a football guy. Do you know how stupid that would sound if I was serious?
By the way, I'm shocked at Owen's take on this. Like he's
I'm actually
Guardians
more
guy.
I'm more Wemby than I am the World Series right now. I'd much rather watch that. Yeah.
You'd rather watch Wemby?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean,
I just bitched at Anthony yesterday. It's not fair. He shouldn't be allowed to call it a dunk because he doesn't jump off the floor. He just puts his hands up and puts the ball through the net.
It does seem unfair. I will say this, like the baseball, the pomp and circumstance, all that stuff for, the beginning of the World Series, that is cool. That is a really cool thing. And it is kind of a bummer that the World Series, when I was young, was the biggest deal.
That's fair.
Going. And now it's like, Kenny, there will be people that they'll choose that college football game over the World Series.
Well, yeah,
that's sacrilegious compared to what it was when I was young.
I don't understand how. One's got an interim head coach. The other one, I mean, I know a lot here. I could give you a whole Cal versus Virginia Tech breakdown if I want to, but I'm going to watch Shohei Ohtani.
Well, Cavs also play tonight.
Yeah, that's true. Forgot that they play the Nets. Wow. Damn it. Well, that wasn't part of the argument.
Yeah.
That wasn't part of the argument.
No, it wasn't.
I forgot during the argument that they do play the Nets tonight. All right, Daryl, let's get down to the football here. Could Sunday be make or break for Dylan Gabriel, friend?
I don't know about that. I mean, they're not even giving Shedeur Sanders first team reps. So I think for me, like if they start giving Shedeur Sanders first team reps in practice, that will be the attention grabber.
Well, why would they give a guy who's going to be a backup the first team any first team reps in practice when he didn't get a whole? I mean, he still didn't get a whole lot of first team reps. Dylan Gabriel didn't before, so you're kind of playing catch up, and you got to try to win a football game against somebody.
Dylan was getting first team reps in OTAs.
I know, but he still didn't get as much as some of the other guys did.
But still, like, I mean, Joe Flacco was here, and they found ways to get Dylan Gabriel reps in practice for that. I mean, just saying, like, they're not giving Shedeur the same type of treatment when it comes to reps that they gave Dylan Gabriel.
But isn't that part of
part of getting ready for a football game that you're trying to win?
Yeah, like Daryl, isn't this situation different?
If you can give Dylan Gabriel first-team reps with Joe Flacco as the starting quarterback and Dylan's your backup, then why can't you do that with Shedeur?
Joe's been doing it for 1,000 years. Dylan Gabriel's just starting his career. He needs everything he can get when he's getting ready to start a football game.
Okay.
Well, do you think, Daryl, that it's telling that they're not giving Shedeur any of those reps?
Yeah, I do.
You think that's telling?
Yeah, I think you get. I mean, what if something happens to Dylan on Sunday? And obviously, I don't want to think in those negative terms, but you're asking questions. Do you really think Shedeur's ready to step on the field and take that thing over without having a single first-team rep?
I don't think I'd have a whole lot of excitement, or I shouldn't say I'd be excited. I don't. You
guys wanted him out there for the final drive last week.
Yeah, to hand the effing ball off, Daryl. I didn't say I wanted him to go conduct an offense and go win the game.
I wanted him to do a quick kick.
And by the way,
you know what? Dylan Gabriel put together a touchdown drive against the Ravens with the game out of hand. He didn't turn and hand the effing ball off, if I'm quoting you correctly.
Yeah, you can quote me. You can quote me. Go ahead and quote it. You can print it, because all I wanted him to do was hand the ball off, and then all Lima had to say was, yeah, you want Dylan Gabriel to finish the game that he won. Hey, you know what? That's a great point. I would have stood down, except Lima, as he does, used my words against me and turned it into a great big fight that everybody got to rip me for. And you know what, guys? Rightfully so, because I never thought about that, and I got involved in the argument, and I was wrong. But I'm not wrong against you here, Daryl. I will fight you to kingdom come all up and down Euclid Avenue if I want to, because I wouldn't have much I'd be excited, but I wouldn't have much confidence. I'd be very nervous, because I'm going to go ahead and take what Rap Sheet wrote and say that, yeah, they're going to have to change around the offense whenever he goes to start. So it didn't make much sense to me when they told that to Ian Rappaport, and they leaked it to Ian Rappaport, and now all of a sudden he's the backup quarterback who would go in before Bailey Zappi. Why? Because they don't want to get yelled at by the big bad media? Is that it? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
They don't want to wake up and turn on the radio and listen to you guys yelling and kicking and screaming about it. That's why they did it.
But I wouldn't have. I tried to get everybody ready to say, guys, they're telling you that the offense is going to be different, so it would make sense that Bailey Zappi would be the backup quarterback. And I thought a lot of us had agreed to it, or accepted it, not agreed to it, but accepted it. And then they make him the primary backup quarterback. I go, that's not setting him up for success if you just told me 4 days ago that you're going to have to change the offense around for the guy.
Well, if you're going to change the offense around, and by changing the offense around, we're talking about throwing passes beyond 20 yards, sign me up.
Well, that is still going to be a problem here coming up on Sunday, and that's why I bring up the Dylan Gabriel thing, Daryl, because I just think he's going to have to play well for them to have a chance to beat the Patriots. There's no Dolphin situation here. He's going to have to play pretty well.
Yeah, and I don't know that the dink and dunk offense that we watched the last 3 weeks is going to get it done either. The Patriots are one of the best at stopping the run. They're ranked third overall. They give up less than 3 yards per carry. I don't think they've allowed a 50-yard rusher. They don't give up explosives in the run game. Now, there's a first for everything, and that's why you play the games. But, these are the facts. And at some point, Dylan Gabriel is going to have to show you that he's capable of doing more than just checking the football down. I'm of the mindset, and I've said this on other shows this week, let it rip. And if he throws picks, he throws picks. At some point, we need to find out whether or not this kid can play. I personally don't think he can. I think he's a career backup in the making, and there's nothing wrong with that being a third-round pick. He's not a franchise quarterback. He's not a regular starter in my mind. He's a spot starter. And so let's find out. And again, if he throws some picks, he throws some picks, but let's see some throws down the field. Let's see him go through read progressions and try and throw guys open down the field and whatnot. Because, you can say what you want about the receivers, but I can't imagine it's fun being in that room when, you're running all these routes and you got a quarterback that can't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field.
All right, Daryl, obviously this is the Mike Vrabel game, and I've seen some people critical of the Browns or the organization or even the owner that they let Vrabel get out the door, but there was not a job opening. So,
right.
Do you think that the Browns should be criticized the way they were with Kyle Shanahan?
No, to me it's a completely different situation. He came here just to, no disrespect, but he came here to fill some time. He wanted something to do, and he did a little work with the front office. He coached the tight ends, ended up having to coach the offensive line for the bulk of last season as well. But and Kevin Stfansky touched on it earlier this week when he was asked about having the confidence to bring Mike Vrabel in and not worrying about looking over his shoulder and being concerned with Vrabel taking his job from him. And Kevin talked about their friendship and the trust that they have between them. He's also talked about as far as advantage, disadvantage. He's like, hey, he was here for a year. I got to know him. And obviously, he got to know me. So I think, in Stefanski's eyes, that's pretty much a bit of a wash. I am concerned to see curious, I should say, to see if there is a tangible advantage that you can see on the field during Sunday's game with Vrabel being here the last year. But yeah, there was no job opening. He was, filling time, looking for something productive to do in the game while collecting his severance pay from the Tennessee Titans. Can't blame him for that. Now he's running the show up in New England. But no, it's a much different situation. I'm pretty sure there was not a PowerPoint presentation involved in his exit interview or whatnot. He was not begging to get out of here. It's not like they just replaced Brian Hoyer with Johnny Manziel. So I think that those situations are completely different.
Daryl Rutter, brought to you by Scheib & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Did you see the video of Myles' pregame speech?
No, I didn't.
We have the audio for you very shortly here if you'd like to hear that. Would you like to hear that?
Sure.
Because I have a question about leadership I'd like to ask you. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, we had the backup quarterback last year giving the pregame speeches because the starter couldn't do it. So,
ladies and gentlemen, Myles Garrett. Listen closely, Daryl.
Coach keep on telling us to have some fun. Have some fun. Only way I know how to have some fun is winning. That's the only way out. Nobody having fun when we losing. Nobody having fun walking back to the locker room down. Clock 0, we down. Nobody likes that. So take that personal. That's the only way I know how to have some fun. Take that personal. Whoop somebody ass. Finish. Win. Every quarter. Do that. Let's go. Win 0-3. 1, 2, 3.
Audio courtesy NFL. That's another thing that Lima tried to use my words against me. I asked him simple questions, and he turned it into me giving a theory. Because I do think that this is part of the frustration with Myles. I do think at times he's flirted with the idea of being a leader. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's ever been able to carry it out fully because there's other things in terms of being a leader. It's more than just rah-rah speeches and things like that. We've talked about it so many times. But I also don't think it's too late for him to be a leader. He's still at the peak of his powers physically and on the field. And if he wanted to, it would be a very welcome thing considering that this team has been more than willing in the past and looks like they still could be more than willing even after a win over the Dolphins. More than willing to just settle on into a nice terrible season and let things go to hell the way they have so many times in the past. And a guy like Myles could certainly help change that feeling and perhaps help change the culture.
I agree with you, and especially after what Myles had said leading up to that game about his frustration, and even if they beat the Dolphins, not being satisfied with that, wanting to develop consistent winning here in Cleveland. And well, yeah, you can make a difference in that, Myles, beyond just racking up sacks and tackles for loss and quarterback pressures and quarterback hits. But you have to want to do it. It's not leadership is not something you can force. And I always feel like, and I have said this for years and years and years, the Browns have, it felt like, tried to manufacture leadership within their locker room. Leadership has to come organically. And if that pregame speech is just kind of part of that process for him to take over that mantle, because look, who's going to argue with Myles Garrett? Nobody. When he speaks, everybody listens. Young players come in and talk about wanting to follow his example. So, yeah, I feel like that there is a little bit of a vacuum, a little bit of a void. And it would be great if Myles sincerely wants to step into that role. And, hey, that's a pretty good pregame speech. And, again, it aligned with a lot of the things he had talked to us about the previous Friday.
Daryl, 30 seconds. Garrett Wilson, go.
I mean, I'm all for anything that makes this team better, and I think he would do that. They've got to find some way to infuse this offense with talent. Andrew Berry's very good at trading for wide receivers, and I don't foresee the Browns with the trade deadline coming up. I don't see them collecting assets. I think that Andrew Berry will be looking for opportunities to improve the roster, both in the short and the long term, and I think Garrett Wilson would give them an opportunity to do that.
Daryl, thank you for the time. We laughed, we cried, we hated each other for a moment. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Enjoy Victor tonight there, Lima.
Going up against the Pelicans.
Yeah. That big old Spurs Pelicans rivalry. Who can miss that?
What a great matchup there. Got to see that.
It's just don't appreciate fine basketball.
Appointment television.
The Pelicans and fine basketball, you say?
I'd say Wembyama is fine basketball.
Cleveland Cavaliers are a team that could play in the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't want to see them?
I'll be watching them as well.
Oh, I'm sure. Now we can just watch anything.
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. Just amazing how things change.
Owen promised he would text me every time Shohei was getting ready to get into that batter's box.
That's not how the question works, and you know that's not how the question works. Thanks to Daryl. He was brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
And when he gets intentionally walked, I'll turn it back off.
Coming up at 9 o'clock, Nathan Zagura. Same question, however, Kevin Stfansky is the point of that question. And if you haven't heard that question, I will ask that question again. Coming up at 8:43 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for...
Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Do you think, Daryl, that it's telling that they're not giving Shedeur any of those reps?
Yeah, I do.
You think that's telling?
Yeah. What if something happens to Dylan on Sunday? And obviously, I don't want to think in those negative terms, but do you really think Shedeur's ready to step on the field and take that thing over without having a single first-team rep? If you're going to change the offense around, and by changing the offense around, we're talking about throwing passes beyond 20 yards, sign me up.
Daryl's full of it.
Why do you say that, Kenny? That seems harsh.
I mean, it's telling. They're trying to win a football game.
I'm just surprised people don't understand the difference between when Joe Flacco, your veteran, your 40-year-old, was the quarterback, why the understudy would be getting reps, and now the understudy is the quarterback, why people think they would cut his reps.
See, that's why
he's never played in NFL games until 3 weeks ago.
That's why that's why Ross Tucker was right when he brought, like, some of the stuff does seem to be crazy, but Ross Tucker's like, no, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and he's been saying that for months. And look, when you got four guys, like, I don't know about the 4 QB situation, all right. And I thought it was a little bit weird, and I thought it got weirder when you let go of the first two guys. Well, you traded the first two guys that you had. All right, but like giving Dylan Gabriel all the first team reps, like, really? We're just looking for reasons of this vast conspiracy against a quarterback that they drafted and would solve all their problems if he was good. There's a conspiracy about that. It would solve every single one of their problems. Again, I cannot stress this enough. There is rumor and innuendo going around that I don't even know is true about the quarterback that's not currently active right now liking Instagram or TikTok posts that are anti the head coach. Is that actually true?
I'll tell you what was true. I heard that
I'm seeing journalists like ask it on the internet. I'm like, I don't know if that's real, and I'm not going to say it.
I'll tell you what was real. The other day, that quarterback who shall not be mentioned was wearing football cleats.
Well, what else is he going to wear? He's out there on the football field. You want him to wear slides? He's going to hurt his ankle.
That sounds like a guy who's going to sit out the year.
Do you want him to wear?
Not.
Do you want him to wear Birkenstocks? Do you want him to wear Doc Martens? What do you want him to wear? Do you want him to wear Lugz boots? Do you want him to wear Timberland boots? Do you want him to wear Wolverine boots? Do you want him to wear Red Wing shoes? Do you want him to wear Shaq shoes? Do you want him to wear LA gear? He would wear cleats if he's on a football field.
Yeah.
Do you want him to wear Starberries?
Yeah.
Continue.
So as I get the reports, I will continue to relay them to you.
Do you want him to wear Nike Indestruct shoes that were once worn by Alonzo Mourning that my mom got me that did not look good, but that was back in the day when you respected your mother and you didn't tell them that they didn't look good? You just wore them, and actually all the other kids liked them because they were going, hey, those are Alonzo Mourning shoes, because that's back when we actually watched the NBA. What else do you want him to wear? What do you want him to wear?
I was told this was a development.
Do you want him to wear shower shoes? Do you want him to wear flip-flops?
Do you know the length of the spike that was screwed into the cleat?
I don't.
Because that's pretty important.
Anywho, see, and that proves my point. Do you really think there's some vast Browns conspiracy to hold back the guy that sold all the jerseys this last year to that would solve the problems instead of playing the other guy where Lima just brought it up to you as if it was a spooky, scary tale that he wore football cleats on a football field. The other guy. Because when we talk about that guy, you take it as a threat. No, they're not holding back Shedeur Sanders on purpose or anything. It would make their entire lives change if Shedeur Sanders went out there and played well. They're not holding him back. But they have Dylan Gabriel ahead of him, and whether or not I agree or disagree with that, I can only see what I saw. What I saw so far ain't that great. It's not bad enough to bench him yet. Not bad enough to do that, and I'm not going to root against Dylan Gabriel like we did with the one caller did. Not going to do that. And we'll see what Shedeur Sanders does when he gets his chance, and hopefully he does well. Again, the whole goal of this is for Shedeur Sanders to eventually play and do well enough where people complain that the Browns didn't start him sooner. Because that means that they have done their job and he has done his job. Because this whole time, the thing that they've been consistent about in their messaging is that he's behind. That's what they've done. 216-474-0092. Peter in Eastlake.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
I agree with you both. I've been listening on and off throughout this week, and it's just driving me absolutely crazy. everyone's acting like it has to be fair. Who said life was fair? It took me a long time in my life to realize what my dad was saying when he was telling me when I was younger. Who said life was fair? Who said life was fair? Who said the NFL was fair? I just don't understand. And then the people on the other shows on the station are national people saying, well, they know. They've known that Shedeur is better than Dylan. That's why they're holding him back, because they know he'll look good. Do people hear that?
Well, Daryl's been doing
the most insane. That is the most insane thing. So they're holding back a quarterback that's better than their starter.
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that? What people aren't taking into account is that when they start Shedeur, whenever he goes in as a starter, it's a lose-lose for them, because if he plays really well, it's going to be a negative reaction. It's going to be, why didn't they start him sooner? See, he didn't have to sit behind all these people. He should have been the starter from day one. And then if he plays poorly, it'll be, they didn't get him ready enough. See, they didn't give him enough first-team reps when he was the second stringer, the third stringer, the fourth stringer. So, what's the problem with them taking their time with this kid? If he's really a first-grade talent that they got lucky to draft in the 5th round, but they don't think he's ready yet to start, what's the problem with getting him up to speed? What's the problem with all this? I don't understand.
I wish I could
mass insanity.
The only thing, the only answer I can give to the contrary, Peter, is that people do not trust. I mean, again, they're a 2-5 football team. They were 3-14 last year. You do have one quarterback who's doing exceedingly well. I know last week wasn't that great, but he's doing exceedingly well down in Tampa. Yeah, Joe. Well, I'm just giving you the other side real quick. It's agree. Also they might not know a good thing when it's sitting right in front of them. That's part of the fun. But they're not doing it just to zing the media.
So they wanted to win games. They started Joe Flacco so they wanted to win games, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they start Shedeur if they still want to win games? Why don't it's just
because they don't think that he's equipped to help them win games yet, and they're going to have to change some offensive stuff when they go to play him.
I just don't understand this rush. Why are we rushing? Okay, I went to Johnny Manziel's first start. It was a disaster. I went to Deshaun Kaiser games in 2017.
I remember that.
They were disasters. Why are we rushing? Why do we want to rush? Why do we want to rush this kid?
I know why they want to rush Shedeur is because they see the writing on the wall that they have 2 first-round draft picks, and if he doesn't get in by the end of this year or get enough runway, he's going to be gone. They're going to trade him. He's not going to be here in Cleveland because they're going to draft a guy next year. We already know they like Dylan Gabriel more than Shedeur. So that's your quarterback situation, unless they go bridge quarterback.
Where I am afraid that he won't, because again, if he were playing, unless they really don't know what they're looking at, and that's a possibility. If Shedeur were that far enough along, and he were ready to play, or they felt he was ready to play, and he went out there and he played too soon. I look at it from the fans' perspective. Well, after you get from Shedeur, who else are you going to play? Even if you don't like Shedeur, you're curious about him. Even if you don't like Dylan Gabriel, it's all right, I can see why they took Dylan Gabriel, he career backup, da-da-da-da-da. But you don't want to see the other guy. Again, Lima says he wore football cleats.
Big. They're the right size and everything.
I mean, guys, he's trying to scare you into the quarterback that how much money they still have owed to guarantee. He's trying to scare you about it. It's like he's the headless horseman. What the hell are you doing? I mean, what kind of situation do we have here? You should have got a flashlight and put it under your chin when you said it. Coming up next, Nathan Segura joins us on the show. Browns radio analyst. Coming in hot at 9:45 on the Fan.
XTENDAV.com, Extend Technologies.
Stfansky square off in Foxborough on Sunday.
Young quarterback's playing really, really well. That defense is really tough. Physical, really good front, excellent players in the back end. And then special teams-wise, it's a huge challenge. Some really good returners. So it's one of these games where all three phases have to be on point.
Browns Patriots, 1 o'clock kick right here on your home for Browns football. Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Tickets.
I got the tickets. Not really. I've just got a paper that says we're giving away free tickets.
Do you have tickets or ducats?
I got the ducats. Get ready. End of the code word.
Do it like John Lucas.
That's for somebody else. End of the code word GOLD. GOLD at 923thefan.com before 10 a.m. Your chance to win a pair of tickets. Cavaliers home opener against the Milwaukee Bucks Sunday at 6 p.m. at Rocket Arena. Kenny, hottest ticket in town. The Hotties will be in attendance. Tickets available at Cavs.com. It's all from the Cavaliers and Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. That's gold at 92.3thefan.com.
Got that clip?
No.
Oh, okay.
He says, no.
Let's welcome in Nathan Zagura.
Hey, I got that clip now.
Here we go. Hold on, Nathan.
Hold on, Nathan. Hold on.
Listen to this clip.
Oh, and hit it.
Going to the left, chased by Baker, hit as he throws, ball out. It's caught by an offensive lineman, and that guy gets drilled at the 40-yard line. Baker had the pressure. Larry Borum, the right tackle, caught that pass. They might roll it.
Can we get that again? I want to hear that again. Hold on.
Hold on, Nathan.
Nathan, again.
Hit it again.
We got to do it.
Going to the left, chased by Baker, hit as he throws, ball out. It's caught by an offensive lineman, and that guy gets drilled at the 40-yard line. Baker had...
Nathan, I was listening, audio courtesy of the UH Browns Radio Network, your flagship home for Cleveland Browns football, 92.3 The Fan. I was listening to that live. I've been waiting all week to play that. I've been waiting all week to play. I go, we're going to play that when Nathan comes on. We're going to play. And of course, I forgot right before. And I was like, oh, and find the clip. You sounded great.
Oh, well, thank you. That was a good time. That was a fun play. Offensive lineman got him, and he got rocked. So yeah, that was a fun one. I'm glad. You know what? I appreciate people who pick out the little subtleties, and I think that's maybe the first time, since the great Deke was in the booth, that we had just a sound effect be kind of big piece of commentary. So that was good.
You keep it up, I'll make it into a game. So, all right, Nathan, his big win on Sunday was nice. It was great for the defense. Be able to pin their ears back, play with a lead, go after Tua. I think for a lot of people who might have been holdouts on Tua, it probably ended Sunday, but that's their problem, not ours anymore. It's a 2-5 football team trying to get to 3-5, and I am convinced though that while Dylan has looked good to not so good, I think he's going to have to play pretty well on Sunday to be able to beat the Patriots. What say you?
Yeah, I would agree with that. First of all, just in that Miami game, I thought it was just a great team effort, and started with obviously special teams. Grant Delpit getting that ball out, winning the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. As he said, it must have been a slow week on special teams since he just forced a fumble, but nonetheless, he got the award. And then 4 takeaways, 4 sacks. Offensively, it wasn't easy, but you stayed committed to that run. You hit a couple big runs. I love the use of the Wildcat. I don't know if it's actually Wildcat if the quarterback's not on the field, but those direct snaps to Quinshon in the red zone, I think we'll see more of those going forward. I thought that was great. It was just a great win, but you're exactly right. If you talk about Dylan in particular, I thought Dylan against the Dolphins was very effective. 13 of 18. The conditions were brutally tough. I mean, you had a guy in Tua Tagovailoa who completed over 70% of his passes on the season, was right around 50%. So it was tough conditions. And I think there were times where he could have thrown certain passes, but didn't because of those conditions, particularly in the first half. But I think you're exactly right. If you want to go beat New England, you are going to have to see Dylan Gabriel push the ball down the field. I think if you look at this matchup in particular, just taking a step back, I think Dylan Gabriel clearly was tasked with take care of the football. The Browns had 8 giveaways in the first 4 games. They've had 0 in his 3 starts. If the defense, which we love, our number 1 defense, if they had gotten that stop against Minnesota didn't let Carson Wentz and company go 80 yards. He's 2-1 as a starter. Now, they didn't. He is not. He's 1-2. But I think that he's done kind of what he was asked, which was don't lose these games. Now, going forward to beat a team like New England in New England, yeah, I think he's going to have to make plays that help you win the football game. And especially when you look at their defense, it's the number 3 run defense in the NFL. No running back has rushed for even 50 yards against them this year. They're giving up just about 3 yards a carry to running backs. But they have allowed quarterbacks to complete over 70% of their passes, throw for 251 yards a game, 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, and quarterbacks have a rating of 102 against them. So this feels to me like it kind of has to be a Dylan Gabriel game. And if there is a weakness for the Patriots right now, Carlton Davis has struggled at one corner, but really it's the linebackers and the safeties in coverage. And so if he can work the middle of the field, getting David Njoku back, Harold Fannin, and maybe some vertical shots when they give some of their single high looks, that's where I think that Dylan Gabriel has to take that next step. It's finding the balance between being so cautious with the football, but then also being aggressive. So you're going to have to live kind of on that edge of reckless and aggressive, but probably what you would call it is, smartly reckless with the football.
Well, you heard, Nathan, some of the players this week seemed like they loved that game plan, especially offensive linemen, on sticking with the run. They were unable to do that against Pittsburgh. And my criticism for the Pittsburgh game was that they didn't get creative in the run game. So I get it. Pittsburgh did a nice job of stopping the run, but now you know that you've got to figure out different ways. And then they installed that Wildcat. Also, the weather was a part of it. So I look forward to seeing those wrinkles this week, knowing that, as you said, they're going up against a good rush defense, but there still are different ways to get that job accomplished.
There are. And I think really when you look at the line in general, it's just got to come down to more consistency. Because I was talking about this with Joe Thomas. Last game, Quinshon Judkins had 95 yards after contact. That's more yards than he had rushing by about 10. He said when guys get hit in the backfield, it's not typically an issue of getting pushed at the line of scrimmage. It means somebody missed their assignment or somebody didn't block their guy properly. And so I think we need to be a little bit more consistent with that. This will be a big test. They got big guys up front who certainly can play the run. Barmore's having a very good year, even though he doesn't have any sacks. They've got Milton Williams from the Philadelphia Eagles having a good year. They've got Landry and Chase on the edges. They've been a very good run defense. So you're right. I think you have to get creative. I also think you have to stick with it. I mean, if there's one thing right now that we know for sure the Browns can hang their hat on offensively, it's Quinshon Judkins. And so I like the idea that he's going to get 20 carries a game. We've seen that even if he's getting hitting the line, when they finally block one up, he can take it the distance. We had one come off, obviously in Minnesota, but he already has 4 runs of more than 30 yards this year. That's the most in the NFL. So he is a home run hitter, and so we just got to stick with that, keep giving him those opportunities.
Nathan Zagura joining us here on the Fan Hotline. For Dylan Gabriel, how do you free him up to see the field a little bit better?
So you give him kind of particular reads, and what I mean by that is it can be a half-field read, or it's read this safety. For example, if we get a single high look, we run that dig post combo, and you can say, okay, with that dig and post, if you're able to get that safety to drop down on the dig, throw the post towards it. Just throw it out there. Let your receiver run after it. If your receiver can get it, great. If it's incomplete, that's fine too. But we've got to be able to take some of those shots where you get things from a scheme standpoint. You're scheming things up and giving him an opportunity to make plays down the field.
Okay, I'll take that. Go ahead, Tony.
All right, Nathan, defensively, boy, it was hard thinking last night watching the Minnesota Vikings and their offensive line and then Carson Wentz look as bad as he looked and knowing that dude orchestrated a big fourth quarter drive against us. So what do we do this week going up against a quarterback that, Nathan, they're trying to make it seem like he is Tom Brady / Patrick Mahomes / John Elway. How good is he really, and what can we do to neutralize Drake May?
Well, Drake May is playing phenomenal football, first of all. Completing 75% of his passes, that's number one in the NFL. His rating, 116, that's number one in the NFL. You'd say, well, maybe he's just dinking and dunking. Well, that's not true. On passes of more than 20 yards in the air, his rating is 158.3. That is a perfect quarterback rating. They've got crazy stats, like Stephon Diggs has caught 39 of his 45 targets. Kayshon Boutte has caught 20 of his 25 targets. They got 2 guys that are averaging between 10 and 15 yards a target. So Drake May is playing incredibly efficient football at a very high level. He can hurt you with his legs, averages over 6 yards a run for his career. Already has 2 touchdowns on the ground this year. He had 60 yards last week. So he is playing great. but that does not mean he is infallible. He is taking sacks, 22 sacks so far this season, 5th most in the NFL. So this is a game for the Browns. Obviously, you'd love to have the lead because you see that complimentary football when we can pin our ears back and get after the quarterback. But this is a game where you have got to disrupt them. I think they're susceptible to some interior pressure. Get up the middle, get after Drake May, get him off his spots, make him feel uncomfortable. He's been unbelievable against the blitz, so this might be a game for where you get home with 4 or with some of those simulated pressures. I thought Jim Schwartz had a great game plan last week. A lot of zone, more zone than he's played since being the defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns, and those simulated pressures. So just anything you can do to try to make him hold the football a beat more, that'll be big in this game. But he is playing great football. And you talked about Mahomes. You mentioned that. Well, he's got 6 straight games with 200 yards passing and a 100-plus quarterback rating. That is the second longest streak by a quarterback under the age of 24 ever. The longest is Mahomes, 7, tied with Dan Marino, also 6. Both of those guys won MVP that season. So, yes, he is playing very, very well.
Nathan Zagura joining us on the Fan Hotline. Nathan, the whole conversation, they had a meeting earlier this week. I think, was it an owners meeting, Tone, or what? Yeah. What do you think of 4th and 15 instead of onside kicks?
What do I think about 4th and 15? I think it certainly will have a higher chance of being recovered or getting converted than an onside kick. And I think, if you want, I'll be honest with you, here's why I don't like it. When I was playing cornhole in college, if you got to 21, even if you went, let's say you were up 20-15 going into the last board and you hit sink, so 4 sinks in a row, you won the game because it was impossible. When you go 4th and 15, that feels like the silly rules where it's like, you can't go over 21. You have to throw these off so these people can make comebacks that don't deserve it. I'm all about meritocracy. I don't think it should be easy to get an extra possession in the NFL. I think people put too much in the game to be able to have a 4th and 15 where you can throw it up, you can get a defensive holding penalty, and then all of a sudden you get a new possession of the football. That seems ludicrous to me.
I am totally in agreement. It's like, all right, what are we going to have, a 50-point basket like Rock and Jock to get back into a game? Like, we can trick up all these sports if we want.
Is Bill Bellamy going to flip the coin at the beginning of the game?
Oh, man.
No.
That's great
like
memories.
That. But I couldn't agree more. It seems like it is trying to make things easier for people who at that moment, in my opinion, don't deserve things to be easier. You're down 14 with a minute left. You're going to have to try a play that has, at best, a 5% success ratio to get back into it. If you can execute that and pull that off, more power to you. But the idea that a simple penalty or getting a 15-yard pass can change the game, it's wild to me.
Nathan Zagura joining us here on the show. Nathan, Aaron Rodgers, does he take this personally, this game coming up against the Green Bay Packers? Because he's been pretty coy about everything, and he says he wants to retire a Green Bay Packer by the time it's all said and done.
This game should be played in Green Bay. I don't care if it's a Steelers home game. We played a home game in London. Let's go ahead and send this one to Green Bay where it should be played. I think it would be great for television. Of course it matters to him. Of course it does. I think it would be a much bigger deal if this game was played in Green Bay rather than being played in Pittsburgh, though.
Nathan Zagura joining us here on the Fan Hotline. Nathan, you have. Can I ask him about the other guy?
Yeah. Go.
You sure?
Go. Do it.
All right, I'm nervous. Baker Mayfield, is he making up? Is he making up problems with the New Orleans Saints to motivate himself?
I don't know, but I think that, that is something that he did very well. I remember back in the day on CBD, Bo would liken him to Arya Stark, where he'd keep a list of people who had transgressed against him, and then he would go ahead and go out and play well. And perhaps, I think it was probably new territory where everybody's like, oh, you're the MVP, you're the MVP, you're the MVP. And then obviously had a little bit of a rough game there against the Detroit Lions. So we'll see if perhaps, being able to get that where, now maybe he didn't have the best game he's had all season, and now he's able to go ahead and get fired up. The Saints have tried to hurt me, and now I'm going to hurt them. Maybe that's exactly what he needs.
Nathan Zagura, one more. Is it crazy that John Harbaugh could possibly be on the hot seat after the weekend?
Yes, it's crazy, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Ravens are about to go on a little bit of a run. Now they got to take care of business against the Bears, but when you look at that line in that game, you say, man, that feels awful big. Usually Vegas knows what they're talking about. I think a lot of people felt the same way about the Tampa and Detroit line the other last week. I think the Ravens are about to go on a pretty good run, and I think all that talk of Harbaugh being on the hot seat is going to be a lot of silliness.
One more non-football, Tone, ask him.
Yeah, tonight we have the start of the World Series We also have Cavs basketball and Victor Wembanyama after his amazing debut for the year. What are you going to watch?
Well, tonight, believe it or not, boys, I'm about to head down to Atlanta for my 25th college reunion. I've never gone to a reunion of any type in my life, but all my college buddies were like, hey, we're going to go to this. So it's an excuse to hang out, so we're going down there. So I'm sure we'll probably be out and about, and whatever will be on TV will be there. But if I were home, I would be watching the Cavs.
Nathan went to a very prestigious school in Atlanta. I bet you didn't know that.
I think I did know that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you knew or
Yeah,
not.
how about that,
You got to know who you're talking to. You got to know what they're made of.
I don't know if you know or not. 25 years for Zagura.
I know. I'm old, sad, but it's going to be fun tonight.
All right. Well, congratulations. Hope
you.
that you run into all the people that you used to pal around with. And I never said the term pal around. I don't think I ever will again.
Say hi to everybody.
Either way.
Say hi to everybody at Morehouse for me if you can.
Nathan, thank you very much for the time. All the best.
Hey, guys, thank you.
Nathan Zagura on the Fan Hotline, joining us, getting you ready for the Browns and the New England Patriots coming up on Sunday, as well as his opinions on all other matters of sport, including you can't just. He kind of copped out by saying the Cavs. There's no cop outs. Okay, everybody's going to try to pay attention to the Cavs. If you had to see one thing, I don't care. Like, I know Extend Technologies can have a system where you're watching 12 things at once. Okay, they're fantastic people, but if it were an either or, you got to watch Ohtani. It's the World Series. It's got to be Ohtani.
I said if he was pitching, tonight, then I'm in. Then I'm all in. You're not missing a game.
I agree with that.
You're not missing a game where he's doing both.
You guys, I totally disagree with you guys. I want to see who they've kind of become enemy number one, the Dodgers.
Right.
So I
you can't say the rest of the guys right now though on the Dodgers lineup.
That's true, but I don't really like the Blue Jays guys. I'm not a big Toronto guy.
But this is not about the other teams. This is about player versus player.
I understand that, but I look
muddy the waters here.
Well, okay, fine. I'll keep the water nice and crystal clear, as cold as a mountain stream, as smooth as its name. And I will tell you right now, Ohtani's the bigger draw. This is history. If Victor Wembanyama was in the finals, maybe it would be a different conversation.
But I definitely, and I told you guys this, I feel like had Ohtani done what he did in, say, 1995, it would be the biggest deal ever.
It was a different. We saw it differently then.
I'm very surprised how it has not been a bit like football made all that disappear over the weekend. It's like football has such a hold over people that I feel like Ohtani's getting shortchanged for one of the best performances in sports history. And that's what it was.
Yeah, it's so shortchanged, you don't even want to be a part of it.
Well, the only history that he has is being the only guy connected to a gambling thing that's still allowed to play.
Oh, come on.
Sport.
Come on.
That was his interpreter, Owen. Okay?
Well, my interpretation of it is it stinks.
Coming up in just a few moments. You said no when I asked you about Dylan. I bet you can't say no if I ask you the same question about Kevin, though. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Solve that riddle, Pally. Coming up in 5 on the Fan.
Anthony Lima.
kind of has to be a Dylan Gabriel game. And if there is a weakness for the Patriots right now, the linebackers and the safeties in coverage. And so if he can work the middle of the field, getting David Njoku back, Harold Fannin, and maybe some vertical shots when they give some of their single high looks, that's where I think that Dylan Gabriel has to take that next step. It's finding the balance between being so cautious with the football, but then also being aggressive. So you're going to have to live kind of on that edge of reckless and aggressive, but probably what you would call it is, smartly reckless with the football.
Hell yeah! Browns football on Sunday. Smartly aggressive, smartly reckless.
Well, and also they need to get a lead early. I know it's easier said than done. That's probably also they took the ball first in that game on Sunday, and there was a lot of talk about why would you do that, and they went 3 and out. In this case, it just feels like they need to play with a lead to really have a good shot because, Drake May has played otherworldly so far this year. Now, he's also due to come back a little bit. So I do think we've got a recipe to rein him in a little bit.
Listen, the defenses they played are not overwhelmingly great. Really not overwhelmingly great at all. This is definitely the best defense that they've played this year, the Patriots have. But I think that, again, Dylan Gabriel's just going to have a good game and change the way that we've talked about to a degree. I mean, I'm not going to come in here and say all problems are solved if they go out there and they win a game, even if they win by a lot. All right? I'd love it to happen. I think that we would talk differently about maybe this season and somebody else. I'll get to that in a second. But I think that for Dylan, it would at least show okay, you're capable of doing some of the other things. Because right now it's just okay, he conducts the offense. I think we're just being nice.
Yeah.
I think we're just being nice.
Well, but Nathan hit on...
I think we're trying, because there's no reason, there's been quarterbacks in the past, there's been reasons to be mean about it. There's no reason to be mean about the guy. I just think none of us think, and this is why I get on our YouTube thing during the break, and I just see people cussing each other out over Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. And I think there might be some people on the internet who are really brainwashed either one way or the other. But I think most of the regular Browns fans, I don't think you guys think either one of them are special. I really don't. I think that 90+% of just regular Browns fans are not convinced that either one is really, really special right now, and that we're still going to be looking for a quarterback at the end of the year and going into next year as well, maybe. I don't think I'm wrong by that. You're like, yeah, Ken, I think you kind of got a point there over there in that other room.
You said 90% of regular Browns fans.
Right? They are Browns fans before and after.
I think that number is shortening that there are just regular Browns fans in general, because the people, if it was, I believe you and I agree with you, because why wouldn't he just be starting anyway, right? If he was better than Dylan right now. Yeah. But that's only regular Browns. I think there's so many more people that believe that Stfansky is holding him down for some personal gain because he didn't want to take him in the first place or whatever it is.
I wouldn't know why he would do that.
And so you can't put those people in regular Browns fans category.
They can wonder those things, but I don't think that Kevin Stfansky, we've brought it up before. Did he do certain things to prove points, things like that? I think we just try to do that because we try to wrap our heads around the irrational. Things that don't make sense, because when you see things that don't make sense, the human nature is to try to rationalize it as best you can with something that you can swallow. I think I saw a ghost over there. Couldn't have been the ghost. Had to be a door. I think I saw an alien out there. Couldn't have been an alien. Had to be something. I think I saw Bigfoot. No, it was someone's dog. You immediately rationalize things that don't make sense because you don't see them all the time. And when we see the things with the Browns, and I still see something new with the Browns every week of every year, I try to rationalize it to myself. I do. Not to make it sunny, but to make it explainable. And there's been things here that have not been very well explained since April, to be honest with you. And that includes why they took Shedeur, why Shedeur fell, why the NFL feels that he's still not a great quarterback or wasn't a great quarterback. There's been a lot of things that just haven't been rational to us. And so we make up our own reasons. And right now, none of those have been found to be true or untrue. But I happen to think that if he were that great right now, he'd already be starting. If he were that ready to help them win, he'd already been starting.
Yeah,
and I question some of the moves that they've made.
Certain guys are undeniable,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Jaden Daniels, I think that was the case with him.
Clear, yes.
So, there are guys that can come right into the league, perform, well immediately. Then there are other guys who wait. I will say, we had a caller earlier I think at the end of last hour, saying that the Browns were in a no-win because if he did play, let's say, week 16 and looked great and the season's over, people would be like, well, why didn't he play earlier? And I did say that. Like, the Browns, you wonder how much credit they'll get if, let's say it was next year. Let's say he was here. They didn't trade him. They didn't draft a number one or whatever, and they started Shedeur week 1 next season, and he just balled out. But would the Browns would they get credit for his development, or would it be, why did you waste the year before?
To the Ross Tuckers of the world, and guys who study this game, to Brian Baldinger, to the guys that we have on as insiders, things like that, I think they'd get credit from those guys. I think to the general public, and this should be actually the Browns' goal, is that you want him to go out and look good enough where people go, why weren't you starting him before? To where there will be people on the internet, guys who make the videos and guys who do this, who say, you see, the Browns were holding them back. That's what you want them to do if you're the Browns. And then you just have to tune out that noise. Because if he's that good, then we're all going to be farting through silk, okay? Because if he's that good, we'll all be happy. And then they'll sign him to a big contract if he's that good. But I don't have any proof of that yet. Anyway, I didn't even want to get down that road, but it always comes down that quarterback road. So many people said no earlier in the show. Do you think anybody says no if they think, okay, if the Browns win on Sunday, do we think any differently of Kevin Stfansky? How many people say no to that? Because I don't know if I'm going to walk back any of the previous comments I've made this year. I don't think I will. But if they go and they win on Sunday, doesn't he deserve some credit? For getting Dylan Gabriel ready to play, for getting the offense ready to play for the team. And he's the head coach, so you get the credit and you get the blame if things go bad.
Yeah, Kenny, there are people that have just made up their mind. They did 3 years ago. So even like the playoff run with Flacco, he won Coach of the Year, and that year we had fans saying fire him. So I think once you make up your mind on a coach, most of the fans, they don't take in new information. No new information matters to them. Point. They, if anything, like I said before, they almost root against him. They almost root for coaching decisions to be mangled.
Self-fulfilling. Because you think that it's garbage, and so you want to be right, and you end up rooting against them in so many ways.
And you want someone else. You've already got your eyes on somebody else.
And there's also the point.
I've already heard fans say that, oh my God, if Baltimore's dumb enough to fire Harbaugh, get him in here
this
right
guy
now.
Said it. This guy right here, fat guy next to you, said it.
His name's Ken Carman.
But I'm not going to. I'll tell you guys this right now. If they go 3-5, if they get to 3-5 and they win on Sunday, he's not all of a sudden Coach of the Year and you guys are all stupid to question him ever again. That's not how that's going to go. You're only starting that trip. And I do think that there are people who don't believe that Dylan Gabriel is very good and a waste of time, and so they just want it to be proven that he's a waste of time. I think there are people out there that think that Kevin Stfansky is a waste of time and conversation, and they want to make sure that they nip it in the bud and that there's nothing left to chance and that they make sure that they move on to somebody else. But as of right now, you guys all know where the reality of it is. They don't want to fire these guys, and they want to give them every chance possible to save everything. Whether or not it's even saving their jobs, they want to be able to prove it to you. So if it's going to be that way, no, 3-5 doesn't change anything. You're still doesn't change everything. It changes some. You're still under 500. You would be back into a race talking about a wild card again. That has to happen. We have to talk about possible trades that they wouldn't make because they would still be possibly in this mixed. Now, I don't think we're doing 7 in heaven at 3-5, but you're starting to kick it around because you got the Jets coming up in 2 weeks after that. So there's a lot at stake here. But if you go out there and you lose and you end up 2-6, Dylan Gabriel's probably not going to look good. This is a big, big game. This is a bigger game when it comes to our theories about the quarterback and about the head coach than I think some people realize. I think a lot of people just think that they're going to go out there to New England. They haven't won there since '92. They have lost 11 straight road games. New England's 4-0 at home, and I think they think they're going to go out there and lose. But you know what the conversation's going to be afterwards. It's going to be big. You got a bye week. There are big conversations because Gabriel has to play well for you to win, and that means Kevin's got to come up with a good game plan for you to win. You just can't go out there and dominate defensively and make a team quit on the field like you did on Sunday against a hapless organization. This is going to be a real tough one, and if you win it, you deserve a lot of credit for it. 216-474-0092. Let me get to Rich and Chardon real quick. Go ahead, Rich.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning, Rich.
Yeah, thanks for let me talk to you guys. I listen to you every morning.
Thank you very much. Go right on ahead. What are you thinking?
Okay, well, first of all, I like Dylan. He's a good quarterback. He hasn't had enough time to make good passes and stuff like that. Our offensive line's having a lot of problems. Guys are dropping the ball. I'm not blaming him for not winning games.
Okay.
And you guys haven't even talked about Zappy. I mean, isn't he going to be the next guy up if Dillon happens to go down?
Well,
Don't you
no,
think
not
that?
now. Shador, we talked about Zappy with Daryl at 8:20 this morning, Rich. It would be, right now, Shador's listed as the backup. Shador goes in.
Yeah, okay. And what's going to happen when Watson's ready to play? They're going to put him in there.
Well, Rich, that is... Rich, I thank you very much for the call, but you're not giving me good thoughts right now. You've seen the movie Scanners, Rich, I'm sure. That is, again, as Lima started to tell you like he was trying to tell a ghost story earlier, that is not going to be fun. Shador, as the backup, I think they would have to change around the offense. I worry if he has to go in. Like, I want Dylan Gabriel. I don't want anybody to really get hurt. I want Dylan Gabriel to finish a whole game. Because if they're talking about what doesn't make sense is you told us 2 weeks ago that you were going to take a week to get him ready that he would start, and then you make him the primary backup. That's nonsensical. That's the Browns. It's not me. It's the Browns. It's nonsensical. And so I can't feel anything but nervous if he has to go into that game on Sunday. It's not anti-anything. That's just look at the tea leaves to it. Coming up next, coming in hot. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste. 216-474-0092. Coming in hot. Coming up next on The Fan. Daisy Dip. Tastes so good. That's why I start to do that growl. I start to do that. It tastes so good. Daisy Dips. Get them today. The
first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Legendary Buckeyes beat writer Tim May joins Baskin and Phelps Friday at 1. Cleveland's Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan.
This is Coach Kevin Stfansky, and it's time for Coming In Hot.
Just posted the clip of Nick Barlage talking to us. Says, you know damn well what the rules are. I was like, yeah, that excites me. CEO of the Cleveland Cavaliers, as well as Rock Entertainment. He joined us in studio today. We wish good luck to the Cavaliers this year.
I'm just noticing some things.
Sunday.
I'm noticing some things in the video.
Yeah?
So we have this great video team and everything. They've always made my name the same size as yours. Now yours is bolded and bigger, and mine is little, like, it's like they did Hannity and Combs.
I didn't say anything.
Hannity would be really big, and then Combs would be a little smaller.
Well, you heard what he told the video team, right?
I didn't tell the video team anything.
Well, I figured this was...
He said...
Make it forgettable. I didn't do that.
You don't think, Owen, that was a directive from the chief here, Ken Carman?
I'm not the chief. You made me do this, you bitch. Yeah, you got to get rid of that thing. I can't believe you guys found that audio. Because apparently I'm the bad boy. Okay. We're just the clip show now. Is that check my ass up? Are we just the clip show?
No, it's your job, Ken.
Now I'm looking at a video with Daryl, and you can see thousands of bobbleheads up there.
Hey, Ken.
Bubble.
Got to be on YouTube.
For?
The one picture, someone took a still of Daryl. He looked like Hannibal Lecter when she first meets him in beginning of Silence of the Lambs. Like, whoa.
Did he not have the light on at first?
I don't know, man. It's like, imagine waking up next to that in the morning. Oh, boy. All right, it's time for Coming In Hot.
All right, Cleveland, it's time to get whatever you want off your chest. Cleveland, you're coming in hot. Coming in hot. The phone lines are open now.
216-474-0092. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Seems pretty simple to me. Kevin Stfansky's been spending too much time in Berea. He needs to take a trip down to Jamaica, man. Oh, draft Shador, keep out the losing. Draft Shador, make it go away. Draft Shador, keep out the losing. Come on, Kevin, let the young kid play. Come on, Kevin, let the young kid play.
I guess not.
We're off to a good start here, apparently. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Ken Carman, I have a great recipe for you that me and my family have came up for game days.
Okay.
We take a burger and we put pierogies on top of it, and we take the pierogies and we put that Daisy French onion dip, yum 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 yum, in my tummy, and we call it the Ken Parman. It is the most Parma thing that we could think of. What goes better with Parma than burgers and pierogies?
That is amazing. Thank you very much. The Ken Parman is great.
Molson XXX.
Oh, man. One of these days on the pod, I'll tell you about the old day drunk days. Oh, man. Can I just revisit? Oh, it was so great. Back before I had kids and Liz worked.
No responsibility.
I didn't have to be up 20 hours a day. And I sat there in my apartment in Tremont, that big 6-story apartment. We lived on the 3rd floor. Liz would go to work, and I had like the day off because I worked nights. It was football season. And I'm just like, I'm going to go over to the corner store, and I'm going to get like 8 of those big ice houses and a couple of Molson XXXs. And I'd sit there and watch like a Dahmer documentary, living the Dahmer files. Just sit there and get loaded and watch Cropsey and get Little Caesars. Oh, my God. Those were the days,
And now
man.
what do? You eat muffins with a spoon, you psychopath.
Well, you watch enough of those, you become one of them. Hello, you're coming in hot.
That's my theory on Netflix, by the way.
Those of us who know him best talk about him often. I swear the stuff he pulled. Sometimes it makes me sad, though, Flacco being gone. I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to play in Cleveland. Their feathers are just too bright. And when he was traded away, the part of you that knew it was a sin to bench him did rejoice. But still, 100 Al in a way is that much more drab and empty that he's gone. I guess I just miss my friend.
I enjoy. First off, the performance is excellent.
Yes, it is.
Second of all, he waits on hold. I mean, that was 20 minutes. That guy was on hold, ready to go, and didn't before
he didn't freak himself out.
Perfect. The guy, whoever's doing that, they got to be like an actor over there at Playhouse Square. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Dylan, Gabriel, Tua, and Mariota are going to get destroyed this weekend. Hawaiians haven't been this bad.
Nope. We're not doing that. I don't know what you're doing, but we ain't going there. Not a chance. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Fired.
My baby daddy's mailman's godbrother is super connected within the FBI. He let me know that Damon Jones is being framed and is a fall guy for LeBron, like Shohei's interpreter. Jim Tomey deserves a statue. Boy Meets World's the best TV show of the 90s, and the ghosts are coming out tonight for Holy Name Football. Let's be Padua. Woo!
We have to do reckless speculation.
You think you do?
Yeah.
On the LeBron link?
Reckless speculation.
Holy Name Padua.
No, I think he felt good about it.
He threw the Tomey statue thing in there as well as the Boy Meets World thing to get me. That's what he did. Sorry, if anybody else played Corey Matthews, maybe Boy Meets World would be an okay show. The show sucks because Corey Matthews sucks. He's the worst character in the history of American television. Corey Matthews was the worst. The only redeeming quality about that show was everybody else. But he himself sucked that show into a black hole that cannot be redeemed. I am sorry to Mr. Feeney. I'm sorry to Topanga.
What'd you think of Ryder Strong?
Ooh.
He was fine. Okay. As Sean,
what'd you think of Big Van Vader?
Vader couldn't save it from Corey Matthews. Big God,
it wasn't Vader time.
Wet blanket baby. And I wish we were on a different platform right now so I could say something different about him. Oh, hello, you're coming in hot.
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay, food chef here. I have a BMI Brown Flash sports update. Ken Carman accidentally daisy dips his Shedeur Sanders autographed football and swallows it in an attempt to give Shedeur Sanders his only passing yardage statistics of the year. Thank you for your intestinal fortitude.
What'd you think of that one, Tone?
Guy gets through.
Hello, you're coming in hot.
Yeah, Ken Anthony. This is Evan Mobley, Cleveland Cavaliers. I just want to make sure to tell everybody, get out to Rocket Arena on Sunday. It's going to be great. We're going to really bring the fire and passion and energy, and we're going to remind people that this year it's not just any other year. It's the year of the Cavs. Hashtag let them know. Let's go Cavs.
Hello, you're coming in hot.
Vrabel.
What do you say?
Not sure.
Hello, you're coming in hot.
A rough batch today.
Yes, not sure what quarterback to play this week, Bob Nera or Nate Marnella. Lima, keep an eye out for the Gab Army. It's coming.
Look at what you've done. Look at what you've done. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Live from Berea, it's Kevin Stfansky. Kevin Stfansky, we want to ask you about Flacco. Flacco, he's a mature veteran in the room. All right, Gabriel, how his progression came? Gabriel's doing pretty good, very smart guy. What about Huntley? Why did you let that guy go? Well, Snoop, we loved him, we hated to let him go. Shedeur Sanders, we want to know how this progression came. Who? Oh, all the quarterbacks are doing great.
The fairly representative of the situation here?
Yeah, why not? It's Friday, I'm feeling good.
I was just reading the transcript.
It's very nice. Big thanks to everybody who joined us today. Nick Barledge was in studio. He was excellent. Nathan Zagura was excellent.
He said they're up to 7,000 WNBA waiting list subscribers.
They already made their initial payments, their initial investments. It's going to be fantastic. And he said Q1 of next year, so that's like what, first 3 months? We're going to find out the name. I can't wait.
He said, don't believe all the stuff that you've been reading.
Yeah, told you not to believe the Reddit on that.
Like,
don't
they're not going to
Reddit.
be the lakefront.
No. And maybe they will be. We don't know. But again, Daryl was great. We almost got into a big argument, and then Lima kind of saved me and Daryl from getting into a knockdown drag-out. Browns football on Sunday.
I don't know if you sold me on Shohei tonight.
We're back on Monday. If I can't sell you on the greatest baseball player of this generation, arguably ever, then nobody's going to be able to sell you, okay? I'm not Abner Doubleday up here. I'm not Buster
He's
Olney.
just lucky Wemby didn't try baseball.
I'm just a simple football guy. To everybody who's a late Catholic fan who has been watching on YouTube, I'm sorry. I forgot I was wearing an NDCL football sweatshirt today. It was just cold. I decided to put on the sweatshirt. It was nice. Okay. You guys have a wonderful Tall Boy Friday.
Thank you for
blessings to you. Go Cavs!
Making sure that you're not booing, but you clap.
Vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Hey,
sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show. Bye, honey. Have a great day.
It's time for some commercials.